a Hufflepuff. No, bitch, you work at Staples. I'm rolling. Let's keep it moving.
What was that? I don't have that go on the screen.
That was one of Saturday Night Live's best sketches this year.
Yes, I don't know where that came up. Anyway. Welcome to another episode of Chilling3000 Hangouts number 178. I'm here with Danny. Our interview with Ernie will be coming up very shortly. I just wanted to come on here and wish Danny a happy birthday today. Happy birthday.
Oh, thank you, David. Thank you. Young, bored, and 24, like Kobe. Not Jordan. He told me before he went on the show that 24 was Kobe's number, not Jordan.
Yes.
Michael Jordan, not Jordan Little.
You mean Michael Jordan, not Jordan. Oh my god. Anyway. Hope everybody's doing well in your chat. So, since we're gonna have people here in the chat, let's get started and play the interview, and we'll start the handout session right after these words after the interview. So, let's get the interview rolling. So, let me put this right now.
I had no idea you were so full of hoe. I really didn't.
I'm here. Interview. I'm here with Ernie Anderson. How are you doing, Ernie?
I'm doing well. How are you?
I'm doing good. He is a radio host and a game show fan. Tell us, Ernie, about yourself and how did you get into radio and game shows?
Well, I got into radio, never dreaming of a career in radio. Just a lucky chance when I was a junior in high school. Went up to the little radio station in the town because other schools had a show on Saturdays, and they talked about their school and so forth. And the school I attended, called Mann High School, M-A-N, Mann High School in Logan County, West Virginia, never got much attention at all because it was in the county where the county seat of Logan, West Virginia, they got everything. So I thought, hey, I'll go up and ask the guy if we can have some time. So I went up and he said, sure, I'll give you a half hour, 4:30 Saturday afternoon. So that's where it kind of started, just talking about the high school and what things were happening at the school. And about 3 months in, he called me into his office, and I thought I'd done something wrong. And he said, listen, I've been listening to your show, and I think you show promise. Would you like a job? And I went, I guess. And he said it would be 7 until 11 at night. And it was be a show called Platter Party. Now, in those days, that was 1966. We actually played vinyl. And so vinyl back in those days were called platters, especially the album kind of vinyl. So I took the show. He said, my night guy is leaving. You're a teenager. The show is aimed at teenagers. And so innocently, I started back in 1966 doing this show called Platter Party. And 59 years later, I'm still in radio.
That's a very cool story. And did you imagine yourself as a little kid saying one day I'm going to be in radio for any purpose?
Do what? Say again.
Have you, at a young age, ever thought to yourself, oh, I'm going to be in radio for any purpose at all?
Never dreamed of it. I never really much listened to the radio. I was always a game show freak. From the time I was a little boy in New York, I just latched on to game shows, loved them, loved the music, loved the hosts, loved the questions. And I thought, when I was 10 years old, I thought, that's what I want to be when I grow up. I want to be a game show host. Well, it finally came true in 1984. Auditioned for a show, which I still do, actually, called High Q. And it was on our local CBS affiliate. I did it for its final 14 seasons before it was canceled. Not that I'm still bitter. Because the money ran out. The funding ran out. And I tried desperately to get the thing back on. Nothing worked. So that year it was canceled. A lady at Marshall University remembered me from the show, and she said, would you like to do like a haiku show here at Marshall University during what they call their Scores Festival, which was every possible subject that kids got tested in, and then awards were presented. She said, we got kids coming in that they'll be bored out of their minds until the next day. And so innocently, we started High Q there at Marshall, we did a 32-team double elimination tournament in one day. I worked from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., but I was in heaven. So that was 1998. Still doing it in 2005. And the president, or the interim president at Marshall University, came to see the finals we were doing that season. And he said, Ernie, I'm refurbishing the television studio here on campus, and I would like this show on. And I went, okay. So he funded it that season, which was 2005. And we did it for that season. And then the next season, they had a new president because this guy was just the interim president. So the new president said, I didn't see any results from the young people that came for Quiz Bowl, so I'm not funding it. My heart sank, and that was 2006, and that's my puppy dog. He's seeing something outside. That's Bark Twain, and he lives up to his name. So it was off until 2000. So a period of 3 years, and a guy at another university said, would you like to do Haiku here at Ohio University Southern in a little town called Ironton, Ohio, one of the southernmost parts of Ohio, which is right next door to where I lived, really, in West Virginia. And I said, sure. So they built me this beautiful set studio for 2 seasons through 2010. And he said, well, I have a large incoming class, and I don't think they'll know much about how to do a game show. So give us a semester or 2. Well, that was 2010. 10 years later, we never got back there. So then the boss at the radio station, with which I still work, said, let's do it here at the radio station. I went, well, I don't think a game show would go over very well on radio. He said, no, we'll bring in a television crew and we'll record it. And I went, sure. So that was 2021 when we started Haiku again. We did it 3 seasons there. And then Marshall University asked me to bring it back there, because they had a new person in charge. And so the actual president at that time, who is the former CEO of Intuit and did a lot of stuff, a guy named Brad Smith, he funded the show entirely that first season. And we'll go back for the second season coming up this fall. So I'm very excited to write all the questions, use the format that we use at the National Academic Tournament, which is in 4 categories. We have a warm-up round, then we have a bonus round, then we have a 60-second or lightning round, then we have the final round called Stump the Experts. And we have an audio question, a visual question in each game, and it's really been well received.
So, tell us how you got into game shows and haven't been to any game show tapings before, because I think that's part of the story.
I just watched them as a boy in New York. We moved to West Virginia when I was a small boy, and I continued to watch them all throughout all throughout my life. Remember the original Price is Right with Bill Cullen, $64,000 question, just all the old Dotto, all the game shows that kind of started out on television, and just have followed them ever since. And probably wouldn't be a good contestant unless it's a word game like Wheel of Fortune, or my favorite game, 25 Words or Less with Meredith Vieira. Just pure word games, or Password. I've watched every version of Password since it debuted in 1961 with Alan Ludden. And it's been a part of my life. And people say, oh, did you see so-and-so last night? I went, if it's not a game show, I probably don't watch it. I don't watch much at all. I just don't watch much at all. I'm just a game show fanatic. And you can't throw one at me that I don't like a lot, other than the reality game shows, which I do not like. I don't consider those game shows. I'm more of the quiz show game show fan, not the reality thing.
Yeah, and have you attended any game shows in person before?
When I was 13, we went to back to New York for vacation, and I got to see Ed McMahon was the host. Soupy Sales and Della Reese were the guest stars. Johnny Olson was the announcer. I actually got to, Johnny Olson came up during the break and said, does anybody have a question? And I said, yeah, I want to ask Soupy Sales if he knows where Logan, West Virginia is. And Soupy lived in West Virginia for a good while. He said, sure. And Snap Judgment was the name of the game show that Ed McMahon hosted then. And I got to go to a taping a year before that of Camouflage that Don Morrow did. And they had a live organist in the studio that played all the music. Great game show. That the day we were there at the live show, a lady won a new car. And man, that was exciting. But those are the only two I've attended in person, other than I did get to see Jeopardy when it came to Columbus, Ohio, their first $1 million tournament. I got to see that. Got to see Alex Trebek and Johnny Olson. Actually went up after the hopefully talked to Alex, but he was backstage changing for the next episode. But Johnny Gilbert was there. God bless that man. Mr. Gilbert, I have followed your career since 1958 when you hosted a game called Music Bingo. And he said, wow, you've been with me a long time. And I said, I just love your voice. Could I have your autograph? And he was so kind and signed an autograph. The only other time I saw something kind of like on the road was when Pat Sajak first started Wheel of Fortune. They came to Columbus, and I drove 3 hours from my house to Columbus, Ohio. Got to meet Pat Sajak, got his autograph. So those are my claims to fame with meeting game show hosts. And, of course, Art Fleming. I got to pal around. He came to Huntington, West Virginia to do the finals 2 years in a row of the College Bowl radio finals. And he and I I got to interview him in 1979 and 1980. And what a wonderful man he was. Big, tall guy. Never, you quite never know unless you see him in person how big they are. But he was a very tall man, 6'1" or 2 probably. Very, very muscular. What a wonderful man he was. So those are my kind of the fame so far.
Yeah, well, that's in game show history, and everybody knows game shows used to be audience participation shows back in the day when back in your era, a long time ago. Did you have a favorite audience participation show when it was called that back then?
Well, as a kid, I watched Truth or Consequences. That was kind of an audience participation show with Bob Barker. On my lunch from grade school, in my lunch hour, I would go to my dad's store. He ran a coal company store, cooked food for the miners who were finishing up their stint there in the mines. He would cook for them. Well, I would go up on my lunch hour. He had a little tiny black and white TV in the back room. And I used to watch Bob Barker at noon on Truth or Consequences. So, and that was fun to watch Barker get such a kick out of playing pranks on people.
Yeah, I wish there was episodes of that online for people to talk about today, because that was a classic series back then. So tell us about your thoughts on the current game shows today, like the reboots and all of that.
Yeah, the current game shows, there's hardly one I don't like. I'm really amazed and flabbergasted at Ryan Seacrest doing such a great job on Wheel of Fortune. He seems so genuinely happy for the contestants. I had written him off because he's on everything. Why can't I get the job? Why does he need another job? And I thought he's going to fail miserably. But man alive, I think he's better than Sajak ever was. Very impressed. Not a fan of Ken Jennings, I have to admit. I am a good friend of Brad Rutter, who's Jeopardy's all-time money winner, over $5 million. I call Brad my adopted nephew. He calls me Uncle Ernie. And just a great guy. I think he would have been a great host for Jeopardy. He's handsome. He's got good vocabulary. good with contestants, but he never even got a tryout, which really surprised me.
Yeah.
But my absolute favorite, since it came on 6 seasons ago, was 25 words or less, because it's a combination of password and pyramid, especially with that last round, the 60-second round at the end. And Meredith Vieira, who I have to admit I never liked as a game show host on Who Wants to Be a Millionaire, because I was a Regis fan, big time.
Oh, yeah.
And I didn't think she had the excitement that Regis ever brought to the show. But, man, she's perfect on 25 words or less. And a lot of stars that I never knew existed, because I don't watch much else other than game shows. So these people that have been in movies and on television shows, they're new to me as contestants or as celebrities on that show. And thought Melissa Peterman, who's a frequent guest on 25 Words or Less, her game show, Person, Place, or Thing, she does a great job on that. But I understand it wasn't picked up for a season 3 unless they've changed their mind. That was a good one, kind of like 20 Questions in a way. A couple of my current favorites, I have to say.
And what did you think of the triple spin off The Chase?
The Chase?
What did you
yes. I would be
again on there.
Yes, I like the format. I could live without it. I'll just say that. It's not a must watch for me, that or Mastermind or any of those kind of like the current ones with I think Valerie Bertinelli does a wonderful job with Bingo Blitz, but it pretty much and Brooke Burns on her show, the revamped version of what is it? It escapes me at the moment. Those pretty much. One of my favorite game show hosts, that never heard of him before he did America Says and now Split Second, John Michael Higgins. If there ever was a natural game show host, that man is it. He is absolutely great with contestants, great with the game. And I think Monty Hall and Tom Kennedy would be proud of Split Second in its current incarnation.
Yeah, and Brooks is the host of Tic Tac Toe, and what other game shows do you like on as for TSN Originals?
Other game shows where?
On Game Show Network that are TSN Originals.
Game Show Network has, to me, gone really downhill since the early days, showing the classic game shows of the old Password, I've Got a Secret, some of the old black and white, What's My Line. I really miss that, but you can catch up a lot of that online now. But not a fan of where they throw in the reality shows in there and all. And some of the new things they've come up with, I notice they pretty much all have the same format in a way. We won't start the clock until after I finish reading the first question. They all kind of follow that format, and that's fine. But other than I still love Match Game. Gene Rayburn's my all-time favorite game show host. And any incarnation of Pyramid was good, I thought. But I especially like Michael Strahan does a great job continuing with Pyramid. The only thing I don't like about some of the game shows, especially Family Feud, Steve Harvey's from West Virginia originally, my state, but the kinds of questions they ask anymore kind of go over the limit for me, because I'm a Christian and I don't like some of the more racy elements of especially Family Feud. Richard Dawson was just great on Match Game and then Family Feud. And they've had so many hosts over the years, and they were all decent, I thought. Richard started it and probably is most people's favorites. But it's a good game. It's a testament to a game that different hosts can host it and it still be good. Kind of like music, where I've been a DJ for 56 years. A good song's a good song, depending on who does it. But there are some songs that were hit, same song in the 60s, 70s, 80s, 90s, that were just good songs. And those people that did it did very well. The Locomotion is one that hit the chart 3 or 4 times. Gloria Stefan and others did. Can't remember the title right now, but I've switched from oldies to country now with my current radio station.
I was going to ask that. Why did it happen?
So I did country, or I did oldies, 60s, 70s, 80s, some 90s for the past 10 years. Well, our radio station was bought by a terrific company that now has 24 radio stations, a TV station. They have a contracting business. They're into so many different things, but man, the people from the top down are just top notch. But they decided to switch it to a format they call Hank FM. Mostly 90s country, but some 80s, some early 2000s. But I played that genre of country back when I was at another country station back in the early to mid 90s. So I'm very familiar with the music, and do a show called the Top 5 at 5 we'll start here soon with a country format where I pick a category. Like here in this area, we have a lot of artists that are named on the Country Music Highway, which is a pure Kentucky thing. A lot of great artists like Billy Ray Cyrus and people like that are a part of the Country Music Highway because they're all from Eastern and Southern Kentucky. And so I'm going to do a top 5 based on those people. And then you pick a category like husbands and wives or duos, and you pick out 5 songs that fit the category. I tell them about the songs, tell them about the artists. And I did, under the oldies format, I did 2,256 shows in the 10 years. So now I'll pick up with 2,257 with the starting the country format.
Wow, that's pretty awesome, man. Country is actually one of the most popular music out there.
Yeah.
Along with 80s as well.
Yeah, we have a number of country stations in the market. One is a 100,000 watt country station that I worked for about 15 years ago. Then there's another one that is, I think, 50,000 watts. Those are the top 2 country stations, but they play current country. We're the only country station now that'll play 80s, 90s, and early 2000s. We call it Country Legends. And you're talking about George Jones and Tammy Wynette, Garth Brooks, Brooks and Dunn. I mean, even Carrie Underwood for folks that like the early 2000s. So we really have a niche in the listening audience. Very happy on it.
There's also Nick Bryan as well, and Johnny Cash for country.
Yeah, we do a thing called Country Classic once in a while, and it'll be like even an earlier one, like Johnny Cash or some of those folks. And we still play Dolly Parton and Kenny Rogers because there were a lot of country artists that crossed over onto the top 40 chart. Mickey Gilley and Johnny Lee, thanks to Urban Cowboy, the movie. So there's a lot to pick from, and I'm very excited. We don't have a consultant that says, no, you shouldn't be playing that. We play what we want. And I like that because if somebody calls in for a request, I can get it on. Other stations won't do that. So I'm very happy with a new company called Total Media that I now work for since May 1st. Terrific people.
Oh, yeah. And also Toby Keith, God rest his soul.
Toby Keith, Shania Twain. I mean, there are just so many great artists that had so many hits. And when I begin the top 5 at 5 again, the listeners will find out more about those artists, more about those songs. Maybe all the songs one day will have been ones that hit number 1 or came close, only hit number 2. And because of a number 1 song that was so popular, they just couldn't make it over the hump to number 1. Those are things I enjoy researching and doing for my show.
Yeah. Very cool. Let's get back to game shows. National Gameshow Month is going to be next month in June, or as we're recording this, and National Gameshow Day is on June 1st. Are you planning to do anything special on that day to celebrate Games of the Month?
Yeah, I don't know. I actually didn't know that you're telling me. So I will kind of look into that and see maybe what I can find out.
Yeah.
Since I was a little boy, since I was a preteen in New York, game shows have pretty much been my life. I had hoped one day to host one. And so in 1984, I got my first shot. And on and off through the years now, up to now 2025, I'm still hosting. And I love it.
Very cool. What black and white game show would you like to see back today?
That's a good question. I've got a secret. I know some of them eventually went to color, but some of the great ones, like and sadly, a lot of them were erased. The original match game, which I do remember watching. Truth or Consequences, To Tell the Truth. I mean, some of the great classics that were out. Would love to see some of those back. Now, they have, of course, revisited To Tell the Truth. Anthony Anderson did the latest version. I kind of liked it, but I could have done without his mother being on the show. But I'm just delighted when they do bring one back. Sometimes it's just for a short interval, but still, it's a game show. And I'm just very excited that, some of the ones like Split Second are back, and Pyramids continued since it started with Dick Clark back in '72. Match Game in different incarnations. It's coming back with going to be done in Canada with Martin Short as the host. I love Jimmy Fallon's reworking of Password, just hilarious. Alan Ludden would probably be turning over in his grave if he saw the current one, because it was kind of a serious game show. And they didn't cut up much, but the celebrities loved coming on. Lucille Ball was a huge fan, and people were clamoring. These celebrities were clamoring to get on to play the game. They enjoyed it so. And I'm hoping Jimmy Fallon's version will come back at some point, especially when Martin Short was on. Man alive, he was funny. And I like some of the new Pressure Luck. I like the bonus game. It took me a while to warm up to Elizabeth Banks. I'd never heard of her before. She was a star, but she wasn't a game show host, so I didn't know who she was. It took me a while, but I think she's done a good job on Pressure Luck. I actually thought Joel McHale, as snarky as he can be, did a good job with a revamp of Card Sharks. A lot of people didn't like it. I don't know why. It was just they added,
it was the format.
Yeah, made it an hour long. But I like these hour long with the bonus rounds that people could win a lot of money. It doesn't always happen, but like on Pressure Luck, you can win $1 million. But it's never happened since they brought it back. But it would be exciting to see that.
100%. Let's see. You are a grandpa. How does it feel to be a grandpa?
Say again?
You're a grandpa in your family. How does it feel to be a grandfather?
Oh, it's great. I've got from ages 8 up to 27. My son started late. He has 2, an 11-year-old who's a Harry Potter fan, and an 8-year-old who's just funny like her grandpa. My grandpa was grandpa, so I wanted to be grandpa. In this area, there are papaws, papaws, granddad, grandfather. I wanted to be grandpa because my grandpa from Sicily was that. And so they called me grandpa. And my daughter has 3 20-somethings. One owns a restaurant in Hurricane, West Virginia called Bubbarino's. The next one down works with Autism Services here in Huntington, West Virginia. And the granddaughter, the older granddaughter I have, is a nurse in Morgantown, West Virginia. So I'm very blessed. We have a very close relationship. And the good thing about it is they're within 10 miles of me, where my son lives, where my daughter lives. I'm kind of right in the middle, and can be there in 5 or 10 minutes need be. Love it. Love being a grandpa. I'm the cool grandpa. I'm the one that'll get in the middle of the floor. When my kids were little, we played games. And when grandkids came along, I played Wheel of Fortune with them. They're too young for Jeopardy, but they loved Wheel of Fortune. I had a great big Wheel of Fortune board, a stand-up version that I got from, we used at one of the radio stations. It was a prize wheel, and I thought they were going to throw it away, and I went, can I have that? And they went, sure. So I made wedges and all for the prize. They're like maybe 20 slots in that thing. So I patterned it that wheel, and when I played at my church, when we have a game night, even the adults like to spin that thing. And but I used all Bible games, and we played Jeopardy before with all Bible questions, and had an electronic host your own Jeopardy game that was out. So I made my own games, and people couldn't get enough of it. So I one time said, I'm so sorry I never got to be a national game show host. And one of my youth directors said, hey, you are a game show host. It's local, but you're still living your dream, aren't you? And I thought about that. And I went, well, yeah, I'm a game show host. It's local, but I love it.
Oh, yeah. If you had to pick a game show for you to host, like in any era that you were alive, what game show would have been your dream to host?
Probably Match Game, because I played that with both regular questions and church questions. Gene Rayburn always said it was a lousy format, and I thought, well, it's a good format. I like
it's unpredictable.
And Pyramid, I think I could do very well on Pyramid hosting, or any game show. I really honestly believe I could step on the stage of Price is Right or Wheel of Fortune or Family Feud and host those games, because they've been a part of me since I was a kid.
Yeah, it'd be like Wink Martindale, where he hosted many game shows.
He did. Bill Cullen, of course, was the dean of game shows. He hosted more than anybody else. But Wink was always had that great smile and great head of hair. My poor hair, as you can see, is pretty much shot these days. But that's okay. Yeah. I'm having a blast doing HiQ. And again, you can download episodes of that on highqtv.com. That's highqtv.com. Or there are several on YouTube. If you go in and type in HiQ, West Virginia, or Marshall University, some of those that we've taped a couple of years ago will pop up. And I just so enjoy doing that.
Very cool. Now, as for television, it has changed so much over the years. What was your first memory of seeing television turn into color?
Probably the NBC Peacock. This program is brought to you in living color on NBC. And I thought, wow. And when I watched the original Match Game in the 60s, I never dreamed the set had color to it because you couldn't see it. But I have seen pictures since, and I went, that is a beautiful set in different colors. I never imagined watching game shows back then that they had color to them. I thought they were all kind of black and white or gray or whatever. And then to go back and see some of the old passwords and all, go, wow, those sets are incredible. And those folks, and I'm sure there's just a handful of them that built those game show sets. More power to them. I mean, that's just amazing talent to have. And a lot of those guys continued with, Mark Goodson, Bill Todman, Stephen Haydos, Monty Hall, and those great game show producers who got those talented people to work on sets behind the scenes. It's just fascinating. Game shows have always, and what I like, and I want to do it on my show, is break the fourth wall. I want them to see the cameras. I want them to see the studio audience. And now in the opening of Wheel of Fortune, they do that, kind of a back shot with the studio audience, and you can see some of the cameras down if you look closely. It's so cool. And I wanted HiQ to be that way, to break that fourth wall. And so we do that, and I like that a lot.
I mean, it's crazy how much television has changed, and nowadays it's all streaming online. People are getting rid of cable. It's just crazy, you know?
Yeah, who would have thought that computers would come along and we could see game shows that some people may not have ever heard of
Yeah.
online? What the name's the same back in the 50s. Uh, just some of those old great classics that are long forgotten that in the original Game Show Network showed. But I don't know
Yep.
why people think a black and white game show wouldn't be fun to watch. I think to see those, how simple they were. Look at What's My Line?
Yeah.
The most you could win is $50. I mean, it wasn't about the prizes in those days. It was about the game. And,
Yes.
John Charles
Bingo.
Daly hosted that thing. And and when Groucho Marx, one of my favorite comedians, was on, he just broke up everybody, even the Dorothy Kilgallen and Arlene Francis, even John Charles Daly. I mean, they just roared at him. He was hilarious on that. And there are episodes of that on Facebook that I cry laughing so much. Then, of course, there was Paul Lynde on Hollywood Squares. He made that show. And Peter Marshall was a West Virginia boy as well. And those old black and white shows, to go back and watch those and just the hilarity. And they were clean for the most part. Paul Lynde got away with a lot of stuff that you go, ooh, can you say that on television? Especially 70s television. But my doggy wants me to play with him, but we're doing a show, Mark Twain. Come on. My baby.
Yeah. It's all right. I just can't imagine nowadays that long time ago, because see, color, like, I just don't know why it was black and white back then, still to this day. I have to look that up, but, it's just crazy that, I don't know, I don't know what changed television to color. Do you know by any chance?
No, I don't. Well,
Yeah,
we're on the subject of favorite game shows. What is your all-time favorite game show?
I have two favorites, Deal or No Deal and Price is Right. Both top one favorites.
Yeah, I thought Howie did a great job on Deal or No Deal. Even when it went syndicated, it was a half hour. In fact, I watched one today on my lunch hour. I was at a local pizza shop, and they always have Game Show Network on. And a guy had the $1 million in his case, but sold out for $236,000, which was a lot of money. I think back then, an African American man who wanted to help his school because they lost a lot of stuff due to thievery or something, and so they had his school. They did a live shot of his school, the principal and the students. It was so exciting, but you know how he always said, all right, $236,000, but let's say you turn that down, what would be your next case? He would have been offered over $500,000 had he continued, but his case had the $1 million, but that was all right. He was happy.
That's the exciting part of the show.
Also have to admit, I'm not a Drew Carey fan. It's more about him than it is the show. I'm not a fan of George Gray. I'm sorry. I was raised with Johnny Olson and Bob Barker. I thought Barker, when Johnny Olson died, I loved Rod Roddy from Hitman and Pressure Luck. And then they had, all the auditions. And Drew wanted George Gray to play off, I guess, comedians. I thought George Gray did a decent job on the syndicated Weakest Link. But as an announcer, I'm spoiled with both Johnny Olson. There's not been a better announcer in the world than that man. Gene Rayburn one time said, when Johnny Olson goes, Gene Rayburn, he said, it just lifts my spirits, and that beautiful voice. And nobody's ever done it like Johnny Olson. Rod Roddy was a close second. Rod's voice used to break up on occasion, which was funny. But I think Drew Carey, he tries to tell jokes that aren't funny, and he laughs at them. Of course, George will laugh because Drew's laughing. He does an okay job with the games. I mean, he's come along in the many years now, 14, 15 years he's hosted it. But you get spoiled sometimes with the original host. Like there'll never be another Dick Clark. There'll never be another John Olson. But you learn to adapt as shows come along.
I don't mind Bob Andrew. I like both of them. Same with the announcers. Haven't met anyone back in your day saying that Drew Carey is better than Bob Barker, even though they were watching Price is Right back then in his era?
I've never
Bob
heard
Barker.
somebody say they like Drew Carey better than Bob Barker. I mean,
When they watched it back then,
yeah,
like in the 70s. Yeah. You know.
yeah, Bob. I mean, Bob Barker just it seemed like that show was tailor made for him.
It was.
Ralph Andrews with Truth or Consequences picked him listening to him on the radio. I think it was in South Dakota, maybe. And he said, I
Yeah.
want this guy to be the host of Truth or Consequences. And then
Yeah, famous story.
I think they thought about other people to host The Price is Right, but Bob Goodson Todman picked Bob Barker. And boy, I'm glad. I bet they're glad they did, because it was such a huge hit from the first on. Then, of course, other versions with Dennis James and Doug Davidson, people like that did some of the nighttime or syndicated ones. But
100%.
but the great Johnny Olson, I do a pretty decent, not only Johnny Olson, but Don Pardo imitation. I did it for Art Fleming when he came the time. I said, can I do my Don Pardo imitation for you? Because at the end of Jeopardy, he would go, Jeopardy in color was pre-recorded. This is Don Pardo. And Art looked at me, he said, that's really good. And then when I first met Jim Thornton, who's from Huntington, West Virginia, the announcer on Wheel of Fortune, after Charlie O'Donnell passed, and they had some other folks, he came back home to West Virginia, was on a talk show that I produced, and I did a special open. And I said, ladies and gentlemen, here's the man who says, Pat Sajak and Vanna White. It's Jim Thornton. And he said, he talked to the lady who was a former mayor, was the host. He said, was that Ernie? And she said, yes. He said, I'm glad he didn't try out for the job when I did. And that was, and we still talk, we still text. Just a great guy. And he lives in neighboring Ohio, a little town called Proctorville, Ohio. He has a home here as well as one in California. But when he comes in, I've invited him. He was on my radio show one time when I had left that one station and moved to my oldie station. He came on with me one time via phone. I said, listen, when you're back home, you have a standing invitation. Come and be on my show. So very glad. Cool. And speaking of people that are have amazed me in their life, Adam Neediff, who you may have seen on the recent repeat of the game show or whatever they called that thing.
Yeah.
Adam's done quite a bit. Adam has written 7 or 8 game show host books.
Wow.
We're close friends because he was a contestant on my High Q show. Well, the West Virginia Academic Bowl. He was on Parkersburg, West Virginia Catholic team. That's how we became acquainted. And then I had no idea he was as much of a game show fan as I was. And we've just developed a great relationship over the years. Before he left to go out to LA, he said, Ernie, do you think I ought to try to go out to LA and try my luck? I said, Adam, you're single. You can always come back to West Virginia. That doesn't work out. He's wound up working on Wheel of Fortune, Jeopardy, Funny You Should Ask, Masterminds, The Chase. He was the head writer for The Floor with Rob Lowe, which I love that show. Thought Rob Lowe did a great job. I'd be a lousy contestant. It's all visual. Adam and another cohort came up with all the visuals for the 3 seasons that they taped. And he knows I'm insanely jealous of his success. But he goes from one job to the next. He's also part of the Strong Museum. He and Bob Bowden have done a lot of interviews with a lot of the great, sometimes behind the scenes game show people and some game show hosts. He's living out my dream, really. He would love to host a game show, but he's satisfied with kind of being behind the scenes and just a great guy. Adam Neediff is just a class act.
Very cool. I should hopefully meet him one day to talk game shows, That'd be cool.
And he's also a wrestling fan. I mean, to 2 diverse things, game shows and wrestling. He loves wrestling, and he's got pictures. He's got, those little figures and stuff. He can talk your ear off about wrestling or game shows.
Mm. Wrestling is not my thing, but props to him.
Yeah,
Uh,
exactly.
uh, before we go, are you living, like, is this your final home, like, as for retirement? Like, is this your house going to be in for the rest of your life?
I hope I can host Haiku the rest of my life. I mean,
No, I'm saying, the house you're living right now. Is this your final house for the rest of your retirement? The house you live in right now?
yeah, probably. Although I probably don't need this much room since it's just me and my puppy dog. I'm actually
Yeah.
looking at the next town over to see if there's
Okay.
something available. But that little town has grown so much. A town that has two big malls, one being the largest mall in West Virginia, and the other almost as big. Uh, Great little town, friends with the mayor. He and my daughter went to school together. It's
Mhm.
called Barbersville, West Virginia. And
Okay.
they now have million and multi-million dollar homes in that little place, a little village that has grown and grown and grown. And I think I can afford it. So I'll probably stay where I am unless something that I think I can afford, because many people think, well, you've got your big radio job, you got your TV job, you must be making a fortune. Well, I'm not.
No,
Uh,
it doesn't
broad,
work that way for everyone.
Unless you're a Michael Strahan or Drew Carey, broadcasting doesn't it'll pay your bills, but that's about it. But I love it.
Yeah, yeah, and I'm happy that you have a job that you enjoy doing every day, because everybody with their jobs always wants their days off and vacations.
Yeah. I'm extremely happy, especially with this new company. I've never worked for as good a company. Most of my radio career up till now has been with local ownership, but
Yeah.
this company um, is just terrific. We've gotten all new equipment.
Mhm.
I'm also probably going to voice track one of their other stations, an oldies station, which I will love. So I'll get
Yeah.
to do oldies and country and be on different radio markets in the Ohio area. Just
Mm.
so many opportunities with this new company.
Agreed.
Even a version of
Uh,
Haiku in southeastern Ohio, they own a television station, and they're
yeah.
interested in doing a regional Ohio Haiku. So I'm all up for that. Been writing questions feverishly for not only that, if it happens, but also for the coming season of Haiku at Marshall University this fall.
All right. Pretty awesome. Um, is there anything else that you want to promote? That is coming up this year?
Nothing that I can think of other than we'll be, reaching out to different teams. Where we do Haiku, we're right on the border in Huntington, West Virginia, on the border of Ohio and Kentucky and West Virginia. We're all right together, like New York, New Jersey, Connecticut. And so I have that 3 states from which to choose, but we are limited with our taping dates at Marshall because the crew also works with their multi-award-winning radio station there on campus, and they
Mhm.
do a lot of the Marshall University games. So
Yeah.
when Marshall is at home, we can't do Haiku because those students are working those games for their campus radio station, WMUL, for which I'm pleased to do the voice work for, the
Mhm.
broadcast voice of Marshall University, WMUL FM, Huntington. So I've done that for
Well,
many years and love that.
yeah.
Um, and I'm just at this stage of my life, I'm fortunate to be in broadcasting where the jobs are few and far between because of the advent of computerization of the business and voice
Yeah.
tracking. But there will always be, in this area at least, a job in local radio, even though it may be owned by a larger company. But this
Mhm.
company is big on reaching out to the local market. The station I
Yeah.
work for is in Ashland, Kentucky. Again, about 35 minutes from my house here in West Virginia, since we're right on the border. And we play to that town and all 3 states, really, because there are things happening. We've got a beautiful Paramount Arts Center in Ashland, a couple of blocks from us, that bring in a lot of big talent. So we promote that. We promote the summer stuff that happens where they bring oldies acts in and country acts in. So a lot to promote in this area. People may not know that West Virginia, Ohio, and Kentucky is part rife with entertainment. And we're a part of that, and I'm very thankful.
All right, pretty cool. Go check it. All right, go check out his show, The Ernie Anderson Show, on Hank FM, Mondays to Fridays, 2 to 6 p.m. Eastern Time. And that is the only show that he does on video, so go check it out while we're still going.
Yeah, highqtv.com. Check it out.
Of course. And that'll be it for this interview segment.
Hello?
Get Jason warming up.
Excuse me?
Come on, guys, quit playing games. Get Bobby up right now.
I think you might have the wrong number.
What? Who is this?
Who's this? Brother, you called me. You got the wrong number,
Hey,
okay?
I don't know what you guys doing.
Freak.
All right. Thank you very much to Ernie for doing this interview. Danny, are you there?
Yes.
Okay. I'm gonna try something new tonight. I'm gonna put this link on the chat to see how you like to join. Give me your thoughts on the interview that's concerned.
Oh, yes. Thanks very much to Ernie Anderson for taking the time to talk to David. That was a great interview. I loved his thoughts on the current game shows and where he got to see it in the past, as well as his, radio career and talking about that.
Mm-hmm. And I have an announcement to make. First, I am done with school forever. As of yesterday. Thank you. No, for those who are wondering, I was in a post-grad program for the past almost 4 years now, and since 2022, I am now closed that chapter, and I'm moving on to new opportunities and hopefully find a job on the computer or somewhat by the end of this year. And the good thing about the computer job is that I could go, let's say, somewhere in Florida for the winter, because I hate the winter here, that bit.
Yeah, go to Florida.
Or LA, one of those two. But it's just that the only reason why I want to go to Florida is the MLB spring training. And also the summer schedule update. Our shows will be starting to premiere in the next week or two. I just need to make some promo videos for this week. Skinny, if you're still watching, feel free to join. The link is in the chat. I want Emo and Jesse to come on down here as well, no pun intended. So the link is in the chat for those who want to come on down. Young and bored at 24. Why are you bored?
It's from a song.
Okay. And I have a little story. For some reason, I got a follow on one of my social medias, and it had a little page that was for reviewing some food, as it were.
What food was
and
that?
I was just saying, oh, you know what? With this type of show, it'll be great to have it on ABC. Because ABC is good for sports, but not the other stuff. Well, actually, game show stuff is what they do prime time.
Yes, their game shows are great.
Yeah. Who do we have here? Oh, it's email. Oh, you want me to
Oh, you're right. Oh, he's at his convention. Brandon, welcome.
Yeah, email. What's up?
It's not a convention, no.
Oh, you're just out of town?
Yeah, I'm just out of town in
sorry.
an Airbnb.
Oh, okay.
And tell us about that Star Wars in the background.
Holy shit, look at that.
Room for tonight and tomorrow night and up till Sunday morning.
Sunday morning, god dang. And tell us about the Star Wars thing in the background.
Well, this whole place is not just a Star Wars theme. This is just a Star Wars themed room.
Okay. That's cool. Oh, the umbrella. How you doing, umbrella? Good to see you here.
Yeah, there's Yoda on the other side. There's like a stormtrooper something.
Very nice.
And then Vader.
Star Wars.
Yeah.
Jing, jing, jing.
Yeah, so it's Jar Jar when you need him.
Oh, hold on. Let me. Hold on a second.
Where's Jar Jar, man?
I know. Oh, I know Jar Jar.
He's not my favorite character, but it's this
But,
guy's favorite character.
I have a joke. Okay, this is Jar Jar Binks. Knock knock.
Who's there?
Who's there?
Yusa.
Utah who?
No, Yusa. What Jar Jar Binks says, instead of you, he says Yusa. No,
You saw who?
Yusa thinking Yusa people gonna die?
I didn't even understand what he just said there.
That's what I think about that joke.
Yeah,
Here's another one. What does the Gungan do when he's pondering something?
What?
Jar Jar thinks. I like that first joke though. Yusa thinking Yusa people gonna die. Anyway, okay.
Wait a minute, huh? Do you mean this?
When are you gonna die?
The ability to apply.
That's what David's gonna say to me in 50 years when we're still doing the show.
Oh my god. Is that like the main joke of this entire thing?
I hope no, I hope not.
That's what she said.
Speaking of
What
which,
in the world is going on?
Howie apparently is going to be hosting The Price is Right in Canada.
That's right. Yes.
And I don't know when the first show is going to air. I don't know when they're going to first start taping the show. Because
Okay,
Oh, you
but
haven't-
yeah, as I was trying to say earlier, the living room and other rooms, they're mostly Disney themed. There's a bedroom that's a wizard. That is a Harry Potter. There's a Harry Potter bedroom, and then there's a game room that's like a Super Mario game room with other arcade.
I wish I could show this stuff, but people are sleeping, so
Maybe I'll get some footage of that by the time I get back or whatever.
Okay. So, what is your tell us about your trip so far, if you want to, like anything that happened yet?
Oh, so far we've just been my family and I. We've just been hanging around here. You're just checking out the place.
Mm-hmm. And is this a tradition trip that you've been doing for a long time, or is this your first one?
No, this is my first time in an Airbnb, and it might be the last. Might be the last one for my whole family, because somebody in my family is moving out of state. I won't say who or where, but
Larry David. Wait, what? Imagine if we were related to Larry David. Oh my god.
Related to what?
Larry David. If we're imagine
Larry
if,
David. No, that's
we're
not gonna
his
happen.
relative.
Well, Brandon, if you ever come to St. Louis, you can come here.
You want coming to St. Louis? I don't know if you want to do that, but
Oh, that'd be fun. I mean, AJ did it. Remember?
oh yes, you did. Emo, do you remember AJ?
Vaguely.
Yeah, you remember AJ from Buzzin, excuse me. And I think you still see him on Pat Tar's server. But yeah, he came to St. Louis for a day, and we went to a hockey game.
Oh yes, the St. Louis Blues.
Yes, I'm trying to get David to go to one of those as well. But
Well, I'd rather baseball.
Mm.
I'm trying to check off the National League teams I
Oh boy,
haven't seen.
St. Louis, that is like 15 hours a drive from there, or a 2-hour, 30-minute flight.
Yeah,
God dang.
you'd probably be better flying. Oh well.
Yeah.
I've never even been on a plane before.
I've been on once. Well, one trip. It was actually 4 different planes altogether, but it was just one. It was just one weekend
Yeah.
to Cleveland.
Cleveland, Ohio.
Yes.
But Danny,
Drew
other
Carey's
thing,
home state.
That's right. Have a good night. All right, thank you for stopping by, good sir.
You're welcome.
Thingy, not deal. So other than Chicago, Danny, what other cities have you been to?
What other cities have I been to?
Yes, other than Chicago.
Other than Chicago, well, Cleveland, of course.
Yes, Cleveland. Sorry.
Actually, I think at this time I might have been to no. I've been to Chicago more times because the first time was for a particular band trip in high school, drama, and then
Tell us
February.
about that.
So that's one time. So then Illinois Poker Fest 22, 23, 24, 25. So that's 5 times to Chicago and 4 times to Cleveland. So the first time was May 2021, then Thanksgiving of 2021, May 22, and then Thanksgiving of 2022, and that was it.
Yeah. And tell us about that drama trip that you did. Tell us about
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
What about one good story? One good story.
One good story. Okay, one good story from one of the band trips we were on. Okay, this is good. They can't find out about this now. A friend of mine, he dated this girl who also was in the band or whatever. They dated for like 2 months, about a year before this was taking place. So they had broken up and talked to each other almost a year. He was in 11th grade and she was in 10th. And then, so while we're in because we're at the band trip and we're, they put 4 of us boys in a room together, 4 girls in a room together, whatever. So 4 of us, we're in the hotel, and then all of a sudden one of them started talking about relationships and stupid shit like that. So then my friend started talking about how he dated this girl for a brief time around a year ago, and I'm like, I remember that.
Interesting.
So he told this other kid we were rooming with about that. And this particular kid we were rooming with, he wasn't somebody that many people liked. He's like Irene. No.
Danny.
Did I say that? I meant to say Glenn Campbell. No. So then he tells this kid that he dated this girl for about for a couple of months, for however long it was, about a year before that. So then we talk about that. Yeah, okay, whatever. The next day on the bus, let's say my friend is here. The guy who roomed with us is behind here. I'm next to him, and then like a couple rows ahead in the other direction is the girl. But it's close enough. But she's close enough to where she could hear us and easily talk to us. So then we're on the bus. We're getting ready for it to start. And the guy who roomed with us, who my friend told us about his relationship, he just says out loud to us, Matt, just because... No. He says to the girl, he says, just because you broke up with doesn't mean you can't be friends. That's what it was. Okay, that's exactly how it happened. So then the aftermath of that, I have my headphones in, but I think I heard it happen. I'm listening to this when he said that. I'm thinking he said that out loud. So my friend is next to me, and he's pissed. He's like, "Why did he say that? I'm gonna beat him up."
Oh,
I don't think he said that. But my friend was like, "Why would he say that?" I'm like, "I don't know."
My goodness.
That was one of the best stories of that trip. Yeah. Although that was in 2018. Now, other cities I've been to, I've been to Arkansas once, and that was about 15 years ago.
15, okay.
And then we saw some. I've been to others. I've been to Nashville. And Gatlinburg in Tennessee.
Okay.
And I've been in the Atlanta airport, but that's about it.
Atlanta, Georgia.
Yes.
Yeah. Georgia.
I love saying it that way.
Yeah, I'm surprised. I don't think I've ever told that story, David, because it's a good one.
Yeah.
The guy fucking said just because you broke up with him or whatever, it doesn't mean you can't be friends.
Yeah. And that's,
it was straight out of a Curb Your Enthusiasm. It was.
Really?
No, I'm just kidding. That wasn't exactly how Curb would have done. It would have been more inappropriate.
Okay.
Like Larry yelling at Siri.
Yeah. That's for
it is my birthday. It is my birthday. Okay,
this question is for you, Danny.
Okay.
This question is for you, Danny.
Oh, do I? I would like. I know. Yeah, I'd like some ice cream. Sure, it's my birthday.
Yep. Happy birthday, Mr. Lewis. Jesse, what other cities have you been to?
Well, I've been to Ohio as a kid.
Which part?
Cincinnati.
Oh, okay.
I lived there for a little bit, and then I've been to Dallas. I've been to Houston, Corpus Christi, home of Selena, of the singer Selena. Pretty much, I've been to Waco. I've pretty much traveled a lot around Texas.
Okay.
Texas Stadium looked awesome before they changed it to that. And then the Astrodome was pretty cool.
Oh yeah, me and Chess were talking about this earlier. Yeah, that's pretty cool. All right. What about you, Emo? What other cities have you been to?
Well, I'll say this: it was 2006 when my family drove our only camper to Niagara Falls.
I've been to Niagara Falls.
Really?
Yeah, my 21st birthday weekend. Let me see if I can find a picture of it. Because
Walter Austin, you're there.
What's up?
I said my Canadian polka friend in St. Catharines, Ontario, is near Niagara Falls.
But I will say though, I am not going back there again. It's too cold when you get out there. So let's see if I can get a better picture. Yep. I think it's okay. I think it's the picture. All right, let me see if I can share screen that. This is me at the. This is a picture I took at Niagara Falls. There you go, guys.
Oh, that's a good picture.
That is a good picture.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not gonna lie.
As long as David didn't get close to the edge.
Wait a minute. You mean
Ooh.
you mean this? Is this what you mean, Jesse?
Yeah. You're too close to the edge. David's friends were like, David, what are you doing? I'm trying to get a good picture.
I regret having my glasses on during that time. Hello there, Mike.
Oh, I'm trying to get my camera to work so you can see me.
Okay. Danny, can you do me a big favor?
What's that?
would it be possible if we could get your cards ready for Card Sharks
Yeah, let me go get
like
a
we
pair.
did before?
Let me do it. Yeah, be right back.
Okay.
Yes. This is the real David St. Dennis here because
Wait, where'd he go? Was under fire.
Oh my gosh. Taking time, Mike, as for your camera, but
that's a yearly tradition now. Because last year on my birthday, I interrupted the episode of the Dugout Crew pretending to be David, so I had to do it again.
I remember that. But what other cities I've been to? I've been to New York City. I've been to LA. Not everybody can see that. Both of them. Oh. There you go. You're back.
Yeah, my integrated camera's not working.
It's okay. If it doesn't work again, it could go on your phone. But what else? I think that's about it for cities. Oh yeah, well I went by Philly when I was going to Pennsylvania, so that counts. Do I have any pictures of me in New York on my Instagram?
What is your favorite part of New York?
Oh, let me see if I can find the picture of that because.
I mean, like, what's your favorite neighborhood, or
I wonder if David, when he was in LA, went to East LA. They would be like, "I don't want to be here."
Yeah.
Here.
Compton. His parents take him to Compton.
No.
Compton. Shove it straight out of Compton. Crazy motherfucker named David St. Dennis.
That's my favorite part.
Outside of the NBC Rainbow Room, Jimmy Fallon. Okay.
That's pretty cool.
That is very cool.
Yep. We all began for Jimmy Fallon. Do you have the cards getting?
It's in Manhattan. Okay, how was this?
Man, right? Yeah. Yeah.
So what are we playing? Card Sharks?
Yes. Jesse, can you play cards with Rose if that's okay with you?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's gonna be since Mike has already agreed to play Card Sharks, it'll be Jesse versus Mike, and Danny will be the host. So. And since this is not still Gameshow Month, we'll be playing a Gameshow game, one on each episode. So let me see if I can get a Card Sharks background. I don't quite do.
Alright, be right back.
Okay, take it.
While you do that, I'll say this. When I first saw Niagara Falls, I was a little frightened.
Nothing to worry about. No.
Well, the reason I was frightened was because another waterfall close to the actual Niagara Falls. I was relieved that it was just what I was looking up at.
Gonna join on my laptop.
Okay. Yeah. It was a very cool experience, but it's something that I wouldn't want to do that. I wouldn't want to do again. I'll just say it that way.
What was it like being there, David? I know you were having to wear that poncho because of you getting wet. Was it like cold?
Yes, at the end it was so cold. It was something I would not want to do again. And I'm serious on that because
it's close by Canada, that.
Yeah. Oh yeah, another city I've been to, Buffalo. And that was because of the Niagara Falls and the Water Park Hotel. I was out for that weekend. So that was pretty fun. around there. Another thing I do give New York a lot. Another thing I do give New York a lot of credit of is their Christmas lights. I mean, for the TV for a moment. But the Christmas lights in New York City during that time is just amazing. Amazing with the Christmas lights. They do a very good job with that. So yeah, in just a little bit, we'll be starting Card Sharks. And they, like I said, Danny will be the host. And Jesse versus Mike will be the contestants. And just, like I said, Danny won't spin the rules, so I think it's getting all set up and ready to go.
There he is.
Okay. There's Danny.
Mm-hmm.
Danny and Lewis.
There we go.
There we go. There we go. Perfect.
Now let me flip the camera up. Alright.
Hope you're having a good Friday, Princess Shadow.
Alright, hold on a second. I think I know how I'm going to do this.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is Jesse's row of cards here on the top, and this is Michael's.
Okay.
Okay. So Jesse, you get to answer the question first. Now, we surveyed 100 men, and we asked them, have you ever slapped a woman's face to stop her from getting hysterical? Now, Jesse, how many of the 100 people do you think that they do?
How many?
Yeah, what do you think?
Out of 100 people.
3.
3.
Because, yeah.
Okay. Michael, do you think that number is higher or lower than that?
That number is just way too low. I'm going to say just a little higher. Not too higher.
All right. The number of men who said that they have slapped a woman's face in order to stop her from getting hysterical is 24. Kobe. All right. So, Michael, you got a turn of your cards here.
Okay.
Now, someone may have to refresh me on the cards as we go. Okay. Hold on a moment. Okay. Michael, this is your first card. It is a 7. Do you think that's higher or lower?
I'm going to change that 7. I don't like it.
Oh, you want to change it? Okay, go ahead. Let's change that 7, but now becomes a 2.
Higher.
Okay, higher than a 2, and it is, oh my gosh, an ace.
Lower.
Lower than an ace. A 5.
I'm going to freeze.
Freeze there. Okay. Freeze there. Okay. 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 Our next question is, okay, we asked, okay, Michael, you get the question now. We asked 100 people. And I believe this came from the old TV show, so maybe keep that in mind. We surveyed 100 people. Should parents have the right to censor books used at school? How many of those 100 people do you think that they said they should do that, Michael?
I'm going to go in the middle here. I'm going to say about 44.
44. Okay, Jesse, do you think that's higher or lower?
I'm going to go 50.
Well, you can, yeah, you're going to say higher.
Higher, yeah.
Okay.
I'm going to go higher, 50.
Alrighty. Well, the amount of 100 people that believe the parents should have the right to censor books used at school is 67. So it was higher. Good job, Jesse. Okay. All right, Jesse, your first card is a queen. You think it's higher or lower, or do you want to change it?
I want to change it.
You want to change it? Is that right? He gets to change it, Brandon? Right?
Yeah, if you win the high-low toss-up question, you get to change your base card.
Okay, Jesse. So you want to change the queen?
Yes.
Okay, now it becomes a 10.
If you guess the question correctly, he's allowed to change it.
Okay, Jesse. Well, that queen becomes a 10.
Lower.
Lower than a 10. A 4.
I'll keep it.
Well, no, well, yeah, higher or lower than a 4
Oh,
now.
okay. Lower.
Lower than a 4. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, it's an 8. Okay. So does that mean I take away both of these?
Yes.
Okay. Sorry, then I'm also on card sharks.
No, he goes back to his base card. He goes back to the original base card.
Oh, which was the queen, or the 4.
He goes back to the 10. He goes back to the 10.
Okay. So
Yep.
keep the 10. Right?
Yep.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay.
And I don't get a free shot.
Yes, that's right. Okay. Oh, that's right. Okay, I'm sorry. Okay, Mike, you got a shot at your cards. You're now at a 5.
Out of 5, I'm gonna go with the odds and say higher.
Okay, higher than a 5, and that is 7.
Freeze.
Freeze there. Okay. Okay, now it's Jesse's turn again. Okay. All right, Jesse, we asked 100 prison inmates, and we asked them, do you think you should have gotten a longer sentence? How many of those 100 prisoners said they do that?
I would have to say none.
Are you sure you don't want to?
Well,
I don't think you can say none on card sharks.
You can. You can say that it says 0, right?
All right. Jesse, do you want to go with 0? Final answer?
Yeah, 0.
Okay.
Well, I guess I gotta go higher.
I guess you have to go higher than 0, yeah. Okay. The number of people, those inmates who should think they've gotten a longer sentence was 32. Okay, Michael, for now.
And I do not like that 7. I'm gonna change that card.
Alrighty. 7 now becomes a 6.
Ugh, a 6. Let's go higher.
Higher than a 6. If this is it, you've won the first match, and it is a 9.
Very good job. All right. Now we're going to go to round number 2 of card sharks right now.
Okay. So Michael has 1 game under his belt, and here we play best 2 out of 3.
Okay. And if Mike wants to screen, copy it, and go to my cards. Hope everybody's doing well tonight with enjoying this card sharks game. Hopefully somebody can break the bank tonight. Many cards.
And final in Colorado, Mets 4, Rockies 2.
Wait, so the Rock... Man. Alright.
What is with that Rockies team? 12-51 on the season.
12-51, oh my goodness.
12-51.
The Rockies don't really have a star on their team. It's probably just like grizzled vets or like guys from the minor leagues that are getting...
Like there's so many free agents out there wanting to quit. Come on. I'm surprised JJ Martinez has gotten a job yet. You know? It's weird.
Okay, I think we're ready.
Okay.
So, since Michael won the first game, he gets to get the first question.
Yes.
Or does that matter?
It doesn't matter for us.
Okay, Michael goes first because he won the first game. Okay, Michael, you got the first question here. We asked 100 police, if you caught your mom speeding, would you give them a ticket? How many of them said they would, Michael?
That's a thing, wasn't
I'm gonna say 61.
61. Okay, Jesse, you think that's higher or lower than 61?
Higher. 70.
Higher than 61? Well, the member of police who said that they caught their mom speeding, they'd give him a ticket was only 21. 21, yes.
Nope.
Okay, so Michael gets the first shot at the cards. Whippy. All right, the first card, Michael, is a queen.
And that is lower.
Lower than a queen, it is a 3.
Higher.
Higher than a 3, king.
Oh! Nuts. So I'm sent back down to the queen.
Wait, what? Did you say lower?
Oh. Yeah, I did say higher. Excuse me. So.
Yeah, you said higher, so you're fine. It's a king. It's a king.
Okay, that's lower.
Lower than a king, it is 3 again.
Snap. For the 1 turn takedown, higher.
Higher than a 3, you won the game, and it's a 10. Oh my
Oh!
Sorry about that, Jesse.
That's all right.
Wow. Wow, what a sweep that was in the second round there. Wow. Good job, Mike. Now let's see if you can crack the bank in the money cards.
Yes.
I'll get your score set. I'll just close. I'll just close that.
Oh man, that was crazy.
Oh yeah.
All right, let me try out something here. I'm gonna put in a commercial break, so I'll be right back after these words for the money cards. Find out what go on. Go. Right.
Yes.
Alright, welcome back to Car Sarks. If there's people here, I don't know. Yes, okay.
I can't believe I forgot all about that commercial.
All right. We're here with Michael. You won the game. And now we're going to see if you can win up to however much it is. Now we're going to play the Eubanks style.
Okay.
Yeah, start with $200. Mm-hmm. Okay. All right, for $200. Then we have to place a... Michael, here's your first card with the $200. That is an 8.
I'm going to change it.
You want to change that card? Okay. And it now becomes a 9.
Oh, that's $50.
I thought we were doing this Eubank style.
What's that?
I thought we were doing this Eubank style. You didn't deal 3?
Oh, I'm sorry.
Uh-oh, Danny.
So he has to wait 3 in order to change the card?
Yeah, I can choose either 1, 2, or 3.
Oh.
1 to 3 cards.
Oh, forget about it then. Let's just do it like this.
Yeah. All right.
Okay, so that's going to be $50 lower.
$50 lower, okay. Oh, it's an ace.
Okay, that's all the lower.
Okay. That becomes 6.
Okay. 306. I'm going to go 100 higher.
100 higher. Okay, let's see what it is. A jack. Okay, now doesn't that move up to here now?
Yeah, and
Okay.
since we're doing Eubanks, that's 400 more.
Yep, exactly.
There you go.
Okay, 800 and a jack. Let's do 400 lower.
400 lower. It's a 10.
1,200 and a 10. Let's do 1,000 lower.
1,000 lower than a 10. Let's see what it is. Oh, it's a king.
All of it lower.
All of it lower than a king. It is a 6. Okay. Now here's the big bet where you must wager at least half of what you have.
I'm going to change that 6.
Okay. Change it to... Wait.
I'm going to bet all higher.
Alright, this is it. You win $800. Let's see. Is it higher than an 8? Yes, it is. Alright.
Alright. Congratulations, Mike, on winning a total of $800 in the money cards. And make sure to use it on Wheel of Fortune DVDs.
DVD. Why would you put that on DVD?
Why not? $800 is nothing. But
maybe not for you, Dad.
Yeah. But also we need to go old school. We need to go old school.
Sorry about my hiccups there. I don't host Card Sharks that often.
Oh, it's all good. I might need to host a game for your birthday.
Of course.
And also it's National Gameshow Month, and that was one of the quickest games of cards themselves.
That's true. Well, speaking of game shows, we have a series on my channel coming, hopefully in August or September. It might have to take place after the current season on TV is over, but we're going to play Match Game on my channel, Game Show Fan 2001. Brandon is a regular panelist of ours, and he can attest that it's always a blast.
And as for Match Game, let's just say the first episode is great opening.
Yes, it does. Yeah.
Okay. Thanks for having me on, David.
You're welcome. You're welcome. I'll see you live chat. And we'll be live here until the 12:30 a.m. slot. As I believe, we have someone to wish Danny a happy birthday today.
Really?
Yes. Let me see if I get my internet to work.
Because that's tough.
Yes.
Right? Yeah.
Hello, who's this?
Chayton smiles, sensing the playful tone in the response. Hey there, it's Chayton Long, the one and only. He replies with a friendly lilt in his voice. Just wanted to say hi and see what's up with you.
So you wanted to come on the show and say Danny a happy birthday, right? Even though you're on YouTube break?
Chayton chuckles, appreciating the humor in the request. Oh, absolutely, he says with a grin. Taking a YouTube break doesn't mean I can't take a short detour to give a proper happy birthday shout out to Danny. Count me in.
Fuck.
So what is your favorite memories of Danny Lewis?
Chayton takes a moment to reflect. A smile tugging at the corners of his lips as he thinks back on fond memories. Man, there are so many great moments with Daniel, he begins. But if I had to pick just one, it would probably be the time we went on a road trip together. We drove for hours singing our hearts out to cheesy pop songs and sharing some of the funniest stories. It was just pure, unfiltered fun, and it's a memory I'll always cherish.
Oh, God.
Do you have another good story to tell us about Danny?
Chayton's face lights up as another memory comes to mind. Oh, I have a great one, he exclaims. You know how Daniel is always a bit of a goofball, right? Well, there was this one time when we were hanging out at a park, and he decided to do the silliest thing I've ever seen. He grabbed a bunch of sticks and began doing this ridiculous dance, spinning them around like a true circus artist. It was
I could do
absolutely
that.
hilarious, and we couldn't stop laughing for hours.
It's also William Braun's birthday today. Any memories of William?
Chayton's expression softens as he thinks of William.
What
William
does
is
that?
such a great guy, he says warmly. We've had some fantastic moments together over the years. One that stands out is when we attended a horror convention together. We spent the whole day exploring the exhibits, watching panel discussions, and meeting some of our favorite actors and artists. It was a blast, and we even managed to snag some awesome merchandise. But what made it truly special was the time we spent bonding and nerding out together.
Do you think he's doing well on Rate and Rate podcast, even though they have too many co-hosts?
Chayton considers the question for a moment. Well, it can be tough having too many co-hosts on a podcast, he muses. It can get a bit chaotic and overwhelming, but William is a pro. He's good at keeping the conversation flowing and making sure everyone's voice gets heard. I think he's handling it well, even if it might get a bit hectic at times.
Of course. And who was your favorite host of Rate and Rate of all time? Good question.
Chayton doesn't hesitate for a moment. Man, I loved all the hosts on that show, but if I had to pick just one, it would have to be David. He always brought a unique energy and hilarious stories to each episode. Plus, his chemistry with the other hosts was just gold. I especially remember the episodes with him and Tom Willis. They were always
Tom
so
Willis.
entertaining and had me in stitches.
Tom Willis, my man.
I never remember Tom on the show before as co-host, but hey, that's a good thing. But
No, Tom was on, I'm pretty sure, one time.
yeah, he was on. But what was your favorite episode of all time? Before I hang you up like a little squirt.
Chayton chuckles, clearly amused by the question. Oh man, there are so many great episodes of the show, he says. But if I had to pick my absolute favorite, it would probably be the one where they interviewed that guy who had a collection of taxidermy animals in his backyard. It was equally hilarious.
Was that a real
I
episode?
remember laughing so hard that I had to pause the episode to catch my breath. It was truly unforgettable. So you hanging me up or letting me go?
I'm telling you to shut up and go back on your break.
Chayton chuckles once more, appreciating the playful banter. All right, I hear you, he says with a smirk. I'll go back on my break for now. But don't think this is the last you've heard from me. I'll be back to cause trouble when you least expect it.
Why does it say that as for, like, explaining his reactions? I don't know how to fix that. That's
I don't know.
That is completely bullcrap.
Was that a real episode where they interviewed a guy who collects taxidermy?
That would have been funny.
Yeah. I think we have one more person online. Hold on.
I'm glad there's no AI Danny, and there never will be.
Hello, who's this?
Hello, sisters. I'm
Yay.
confused. Who are you saying hello to?
I'm not a sister. You're Lars twin.
Oh, gotcha. Well, I'm a fan of the Rant and Rave podcast and Chilling with Jordy podcast. So am I a large twin?
Well, I'm not a fan of Chilling with Jordy. I think all he does is do gameplay videos 24/7. He used to mix it up and host Car Sarks.
He should host Card Sharks.
Oh, okay then. That's fair. Who is Carl Sarks?
I said Car Sarks.
Carl Sharks.
Oh, Car Starts. Bro, that's an iconic name.
So, what is your favorite game show of all time there, Jordy?
That's a hard one. Honestly, some of my favorites growing up were the ones I really loved. Things like Wheel of Fortune, The Price is Right, Family Feud, all of those were some of my favorites.
Okay. Have you been to a game show TV before, or meet any of the game show hosts? Because I met more than gaming.
You've met game show hosts before? Which ones did you meet?
I met Drew Carey, George Gregg, Mark L. Wahlberg, Wahlberg, more game show hosts than Danny will ever meet at this time.
That's awesome, bro. I'm kind of jealous, NDL, because I want to meet game host LO. But that's seriously so cool.
Today is Danny's birthday. I want to say happy birthday.
It is Danny's birthday. He was born on June 8th. So happy birthday, Danny.
It's actually June 7th. I mean, June 6th.
June 6th.
What do you mean? You getting Ross to
Hey, children, get your own capture card.
Does he not want a capture card?
What's a capture card?
It's where you can record your gameplay videos. I'm doing
I don't know what that is. Maybe you mean capture card?
A capture card is where you can record your own gameplay videos without having to use your own mobile or computer or phone device. It's an A++.
Oh, so you're talking about a capture card. Okay. Yes, that is one of the best ways to record game footage, for sure.
So how come you haven't gotten one yet? Because you're missing this great opportunity.
Well, I do have one, actually. Mine isn't the best quality, but it does the job for sure.
Just like what Elon Musk tried to do in the White House before he got kicked out.
What did Elon do in the White House?
I think he got tired of watching Wheel of Fortune there every single day and had to move.
Well, now, seriously? What's that? The guy, how? It's like that you might. With like.
You're speaking Biden language.
He's glitchy.
Thanks for the compliment, bro. What do you mean by that, though?
You were glitching out, but you're fine.
Thanks, bro. Appreciate the compliment. You're not too bad yourself.
It's also William's birthday. Want to say happy birthday to him as well?
Oh, really? I didn't know it was William's birthday. Happy birthday, William.
Wow, I'm shocked. You know he's your best friend, but have you ever heard of a person named Thunderbirds 501 as well? It's his birthday too.
Thunderbird? I've heard of him before, but what a funny name for a channel. Is it really his birthday too?
Yes, it's a triple threat.
That's actually insane, considering that it's 3 different people's birthdays that we were talking about in one hangout. Bro, what are the odds of that?
Hey, that's the odds are like when I thought JD Vance will be president in the next 40 years.
Shut up.
I agree, bro. I think I have a higher chance of winning the lottery than I do finding a KD fan in the same lobby twice allowed.
Have you ever thought of dating anybody by any chance?
Me? Oh, bro, you wouldn't believe how many times I've thought about that. But the chances of me ever finding a girl are slim. Besides, I'm too busy with my podcast to have a relationship.
That's true.
So, you want to do some streaming 24/7, then do some good social, try to dedicate yourself to someone else. I understand that. But what if you had her as a co-host for your streams? Will you do that? See what's a co-host?
That would be a really good idea, but my podcast works fine with 3. We don't need a 4th host. But I may try to find a girlfriend who is interested in podcasting and have her co-host my podcast.
Good, just tell her to buy Denny's Red Bubble.
Is that one of your designs? That shirt design is pretty cool, not gonna lie.
And I hang up on him. Goodbye, AI Cody. But that was an interesting conversation. He apparently already has a capture card, but doesn't want to use it. Apparently, doesn't want to date right now. So it's a lot of interesting things going on with AI Cody these days. Oh. Tack that, but why is this person calling me?
Who's calling you?
Hello, who's this?
It's me, Jeff. Don't tell me you forgot about me already.
Jeff who?
Jeff the puppet. I'm M's friend and a pretty cool dude if I do say so myself.
So you're Emo's friend.
Yeah. Me and M have been friends for a while now. He's a pretty cool guy, even though he can get a bit emo sometimes.
Why are you alive?
Well, I'm not alive. I'm a puppet, so I'm not technically alive to begin with. But I guess you could say I have a certain level of consciousness. And I can interact with people in the world around me to some extent. Does that answer your question?
So, my best guess is you don't speak when Emo's around.
Yeah, M can be a bit moody sometimes, and it's best to avoid talking around him when he's in a bad mood. But don't worry, I'll still be here to hang out and chat with you.
Alright, have a good night, you squirt. You suck. Hopefully. Alright. I don't know why I had to do a third person calling me, but, you know, that's it for them. Anyway, any other news you want to talk about, Dave, before we end it here soon?
I don't think I have to say. Glad to make it to 24, and we'll see you when I'm 25.
25. Oh, Emo. Do you want to give your thoughts on the Switch 2? And Jesse, you can do the same one after Emo gives his thoughts on that with the Nintendo Switch 2 release happening.
And I think I sent in the Renegades chat a video of a reaction.
Oh, okay. But what was your reaction when you saw like everybody getting it and all that? Because it's absolutely crazy that day one people are buying it. Even though they already have this Nintendo Switch itself.
Oops.
You know what I'm saying, Emo?
I know what you're saying. Although, hold on, I'm trying to send you. Why can't I?
Take your time, Emo. Those were good callers that we had at the end.
Yeah.
So,
Jesse, do you want to play a game with us on Tuesday night?
Sure.
Okay, I'll send you a message when it gets closer.
All right.
Hopefully, it won't fall asleep.
Okay, I sent it.
Yeah, let me see. What the? Yeah. Oh. Okay, I gotta share screen. This.
Oh boy.
For entertainment purposes. Okay. I hate this Facebook desktop thing taking forever.
Sometimes you need Facebook.
Yes. Then Twitter.
X.
I call it Twitter, and that will forever be it. Calling it Twitter, people. Don't ever get.
I will say this, even though I don't have the Switch 2 yet, I do have an accessory for the Switch 2 at the very least.
Alright.
Just an accessory.
Yes. Okay, I'm gonna share screen this.
Alright, here.
Alright.
Here it comes.
Okay, stop this, Brian.
Get bigger. Okay. Oh!
Okay, stop this, Brian. How can I help you?
expensive.
People these days, man. Can I just get this big, please? Yeah, no problem. Thank you.
Oh my god.
Oh, man.
That's
Oops.
funny. That's Torn trying to find the capture card.
Yeah.
Oh,
Jesse, do you want to hear my Jar Jar Binks joke?
sure.
All right, hold on. All right, knock knock.
Who's there?
You saw.
You saw who?
You saw thinking you saw people gonna die?
Are you understanding what he's saying? Because I could not. I think he might need to slow down.
Any more jokes, Danny?
I don't think so.
Oh man.
I'll put it in the private chat for Brandon because I might have talked.
Oh, for Brandon to read out loud.
No. I might have read it too fast because I'm just gonna tell him what the punchline is in the private chat. Okay, there it is. That's a good one.
Yep. 100%. But oh man, I'm getting tired. But my oh, what the? Who's this? Oh, it's Nova. Just about you. Yes, I called. Yeah. Hey there, Nova. How you doing?
Hello.
There you go.
Hear any loud noise?
Mm-hmm.
Do you hear any?
No.
Nope, you're good.
Okay. Well, the fan's in the background,
crap.
for those who are wondering. Let me just go ahead and turn it off real quick.
Oh crap! What's wrong?
What the heck is this? Why did you decide to kick back?
Huh? What do you mean?
Why are you calling me again? I told you to leave, dagnabbit.
Hello.
Dude, I'm not even trying to cause any trouble. I apologize if I'm doing this. I'm just having fun and talking on here. I apologize.
What?
Well, will you forgive me if you buy a capture card?
Why do you want me to buy a capture card? I literally already have one wall.
You gotta show me proof. That's our feelings, remember?
Sure. How do you want me to prove it to you?
Send me a screenshot. Screenshots.
Okay. Will do. I'll send you a picture and you'll believe me?
Yes, because we need a game capture for your YouTube channel. It'll get you a plaque from YouTube.
I don't know about that.
I already have 500 subscribers.
What?
I might even get the silver plaque. LOL.
500,000 subscribers. Can you do a sub for sub with me?
Sure.
You're
So
crazy.
you just want me to subscribe to your channel and you'll subscribe to mine?
Yes, with all your subscribers. That'd be great.
Sub to sub. That's been dead for 15 years
All right,
now.
I'll do it.
Yep.
My channel is called J-Man's Legit. What's your channel name?
Network 3000.
Hey, I subscribe. Make sure to subscribe to mine.
Yeah, so make sure to subscribe to Danny as well for his birthday. Okay, same with one.
I subscribe to both of them. Hopefully they appreciate my subscription, especially on Denny's birthday. Happy
They don't.
birthday.
Okay, good. So don't call me again by mistake, and have fun watching Car Stars, okay? Your favorite game show.
Well, okay, I'm done calling you. I'll watch my favorite show, Card Star. Happy birthday to Denny again.
Denny.
Right, take care.
Did you hear that shit?
What's your favorite show called?
It's gotta be a lot of.
How'd you do that? OBS?
Oh,
Yes.
What the? Who was that? Oh, Jordy. You just called me.
What the are you doing? Brandon, hold it right there. Get your ass back over there in that seat. And you approve of this, Nova?
What?
You approve of this bullshit that's going on? Him using AI?
I don't know what the fuck's going on.
He's using an AI voice call of me.
Oh.
Don't you dare hide your face, Beauregard.
Wait, that wasn't really you. I could have sworn it sounded just like
What?
you, Jordan.
Danny,
No way.
there's a thing called a baseball bat, aluminum, and it's got your name written all over it. So stay out of this while you still have an ass to sit on.
Oh yes.
Oh, Jordan, don't forget to
And Jesse. And it's not Jesse Pinkman, Mr. Where do I begin? You approve of this bullshit too?
Yes, me and Jesse want you to
I
get a
was
capture
asking
card.
Jesse. Sit your little ass down. I'm asking him. Well, Jesse?
I'm just sitting here minding my own business.
Oh, so you're sitting there minding your own business. A likely story. And then you got Mr. Beauregard. You approve of this nonsense?
Is that what I'm doing?
You approve of what David's doing? Trying to use AI of me? Just trying to, make fun of me? Like, seriously.
Yeah, like that episode of Rant and Rave where you guys interviewed a
I have no control over him, sadly. This is his show.
Well, then again, you should have control over him because you probably might use a mace and a whip on him sometime.
I do. That's me.
I had no idea that was AI. That's pretty good, actually.
Yeah.
like chaps, mace, and leather on him, Dominatrix. That's the word.
ChatGPT.
Yes.
Anyway, what's going on? I just got back home not too long ago from the movies, Karate Kid Legends.
Oh, okay.
Awesome.
That's good. And Danny is Danny's birthday today, by the way.
Oh, right now, like midnight.
Well, the 6th. It was yesterday.
Wait, it's
Happy late birthday.
Thank you.
Well, Jordan,
happy late birthday, man. I'm sorry if I didn't get a chance to put happy birthday on your Facebook, but happy
no problem.
It was actually William's birthday too.
Yeah.
Who?
It was William, the guy on R&R.
Oh, yeah.
It's still turned 6 in Danny's area, so you're not too late. Danny's in Central Time.
For about a half hour.
Oh, so it's still your birthday. Then in that case, happy birthday.
Thank you.
So, how old are you, Dan?
24.
Okay.
Yes.
24. What? That sounds like Tom whenever he's talking in his, Boston accent. Hey, over here. I want you to close the door, what?
Sometimes I break into the accent on the phone at work unintentionally. Like I'm like, do you want to help it renew it for the year? Instead of year, I say year.
For the year.
And instead of membership, I say membership.
What kind of membership is that? Is it a gay membership?
No. That's you got that at the one down the street.
Yes, get it at the dollar store.
Oh, speaking of gay, oh my God.
What?
I'm gonna say this right now. If the rumors are confirmed to be true about who they're wanting to cast as Zelda, I will not hold back.
What?
I won't insult anybody or what they prefer, but I will not hold back on what I will have to say if it becomes true.
Okay.
If anybody has heard the rumors, just know that if it becomes true, that proves it. Everything that we've been dealing with is dead in the entertainment industry because I cannot put up with bullshit any longer.
Can you put that in a private chat, Jordan?
Or at least tell us what happened with Zelda.
No, it's basically, I'm not simply saying it's drama related, David, because again, I've already said it in the film forums.
I know.
So yeah, basically, from what I'm hearing, they're trying to, someone, a trans dude by the name of Hunter Fear, I don't know what the name is wanting to be casted as the role of Zelda. Yeah, I'm not kidding. For the role of Zelda in the upcoming live-action Zelda movie. And I'm like, in my head...
it's a movie.
Yeah, and I'm like, in my head, are you kidding me?
I had no idea about this, actually.
I just learned about this today. Romy mentioned in my live chat. I didn't pay attention to it. And then when we just got home, me and my mom, she told me about it. And I was like, again, another example. You go woke, you'll go broke. Well,
Yes.
when I'm gonna, if it becomes true, I'm not going to hold back what I'm going to say. I'm not going to insult anybody. I'm not going to use any slurs. I'm just going to simply speak from what I got to say. Because again, I've had enough of this propaganda bullshit.
Yeah.
If you're gonna make a gay movie, then fine. Make a gay movie. Make it original. Use something else. Don't put it in a franchise. But if you put it in a franchise that doesn't even need it in the first place, then you're gonna have a lot of people
It's a TV
divided.
show.
It's gonna be divided, you know?
Divided, like Mike Richards.
It's just gay enough.
Yes, that was a great show.
Yeah, it's really good.
Here's the thing. There's one I think they're trying to get into production. I don't know when it starts, but I've heard it's actually going to happen. I don't know if but if they go through with this, I'm not going to watch it because I refuse. It's not that I refuse, like whatever they do. It's just that I will not put up with bullshit,
Yeah. Also, I actually want to have him on this episode since the Nintendo Switch 2 has came out. I want to give your
Nintendo
thoughts
Switch
on that.
2. Holy shit.
Yeah,
Well,
perfect.
since you got me on here, I feel like I'm drunk right now, but I don't drink alcohol. Maybe it's because I'm all riled up because of the news I've heard or something. Okay, so Nintendo Switch 2, I'm planning on getting on my birthday. I'll probably give my thoughts on it, but here's the thing what I want to know. Have you guys seen the SpongeBob movie?
Which one?
What, the first one with David Hasselhoff?
Yes.
Yeah.
Of course I have.
Okay, here we go. First off, congratulations, Mr. Miyamoto. Hello, I like money. What inspired you to make a second, Nintendo Switch right next to the original? Money.
That's true.
I got a joke. I'm going to put it in the private chat.
Oh, okay.
I like reading
It's
private
probably
jokes.
going to be bad, but...
We got so who's gonna read that on the air?
I will.
Well, actually, I'm the one who did the joke. I did a joke before. In fact, here's the thing: there's this actor who plays in the Squid Games, and you know what? The person's name is Wan Chu. But guess what I said in the live chat when the name was revealed? I said one Jew. As in one, as in only one, number one, and then Jew. Nintendo Switch 2, more like Nintendo Switch Jew.
Yeah, or there'll be another sequel called Nintendo Switch Fans.
Or no, maybe it'll be called Nintendo Switch Israelite.
Well, that's a good one. Tell the Gaza people about that. Okay, here's a good joke. I'll put it in the
Oh, well, actually, you know something? That is actually, pronouncing Tack and the Power of Juju. I mean, that is actually a...
Yeah,
I mean, when you think about it, you could also pronounce it like that, too.
Yeah, someone read this joke.
Wait. Okay, so... okay.
Did Jordy get the video that I sent to him on Messenger? I think even though it's on
I didn't get a chance to watch it, but I'll take a look at it. So, okay, so Danny said a former Family Feud contestant was recently convicted for killing his wife. Survey says death.
There's actually wasn't there a story about that, Danny?
Yes, it came from a true story.
Wow.
Yeah, tell us about it.
Hold on a second. I just remembered something that I watched on the Facebook Reels not too long ago. And it is probably one of the most funniest yet very, very careful thought of, things. And Hank, or excuse me, asshole. You'll probably like this one. You ready for this?
Go on.
Yeah.
What was Syndrome's, what was he known as before he became a villain known as Syndrome?
Buddy.
Down syndrome.
Yeah, that's what down. Yeah.
And you know who answered that question? A guy using a Mickey Mouse puppet, sounding like I'm Down syndrome.
The joke I heard was that if I ever get a dog, I'm gonna name him Syndrome, so that way I can yell "Down Syndrome."
Oh, or if you name your son Dumpster, that way you can call for him saying "Come Dumpster."
Oh God.
Dumpster fire. That's right.
And credit to Romy for that joke.
For the folks here on the panel, tell the Family Feud story, if you could, please.
Well, that's not much to tell other than a guy went on a Family Feud with Steve Harvey, and a couple years later, he ended up killing his wife.
Oh,
and
I thought there was
because
more
of
to
that
that
reason, they don't.
I sent a picture.
They don't show his episodes on Game Show Network no more. But
All right,
it must be on Internet Archive.
I think I have some. Here's another joke. The man who was behind the viral blue-black dress illusion was charged with trying to kill his wife. The prosecution is saying that he beat her black and blue, while the defense insists that he beat her gold and white.
What? Oh my God.
What?
Jordan's throwing up.
No, I'm not. Well, I'm trying not to. I was coughing right there.
David, that's a joke from Reddit.
I think I've heard of this before. When you said black and blue, and then you said, what else did you say?
The prosecution is saying that he beat her black and blue, while the defense insists that he only beat her gold and white.
Gold and white. Oh my God! By the way, beat her black and blue, not gold and white. Like seriously.
All right.
Oh my God, that caught me off guard. Did you just? Okay. Oh, you're an asshole for real.
I'm an asshole.
Dude, you should have seen me on a recent live reaction where I did something like that. Like, yeah, I'm an asshole. I own it. I live it. I am it.
Oh,
you know what?
yeah.
I'm an asshole.
Have you,
Asshole.
Have you listened to the song "Asshole" by Dennis Leary?
No, but I've heard the song "Asshole," named by you.
Oh, you should listen to it. It describes me perfectly.
Well, yeah, it does describe you perfectly.
Yeah.
To an A, to an E.
Here, I'll send you the song on Instagram.
You know, it's kind of funny that with the word asshole, it begins with an A and ends with an E. You know those are vowels, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
The irony.
Okay, here's
so if you ever have a spelling bee that ends with that begins and ends with a vowel, just say asshole.
Oh. Yep.
Okay, here you go, Jordy.
Yeah, is it on Instagram?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll check that out in a bit. I can't right now with my phone.
Yeah, I know. Just check it out when you get the chance.
Here's a joke in the private chat for Jordan to read out loud.
Anyway, wait, check the private chat.
Yeah, I have a joke for you to read out loud.
Do you want me to read out loud?
Yeah, both of those.
Okay.
Yep.
Okay, this ought to be fun. A woman is sitting at home on the patio with her husband, drinking a glass of wine, and she says, "I love you." And then he asks, "Is that you or the wine talking?" And she replies, "It's me talking to the wine." That was pretty good. I actually kind of like that. Where'd you get that?
Reddit.
Reddit? Oh my God, the Reddit. So that's who writes your material.
Nah, that's not true.
That's not true. Reddit doesn't write my material. Only blue balls do.
I've written a few style jokes like that.
Okay, so since there's only a few people watching that chat, there's a thing that I wanted to play all I wanted to do is get Jordan's reaction of this. Okay, I want to do this.
I wanted to play this to get Jordy to see if he reacts to this. Oh, yes.
Okay, here it comes.
What's this?
Do not come. Do not come.
Do not.
I'm gonna come. Jeff Bezos came, Bill Gates came, Mark Zuckerberg came. Many of them came numerous times. The bankers have all come. Everybody's coming.
And what got the comments? Hold on. I'm gonna show you.
Oh, that's why it's called the what? Because of cum. It's a sperm bank.
We're not trying to be racist here. It's just that it was a good joke again.
Nah. It's look. Well, regardless if you're black or white, what comes out of you is still white. It's called like sperm.
Just like
David doesn't know what that is.
Wait a minute, hold on. Same goes for you, Jesse. You're brown in a way, So if you get the sperm bank, what's coming out of you is white, not black. Like seriously.
And
let's see. What does it say here? Astros fan? Okay.
Yes, because he's from Texas.
Oh yeah, well, they were called the Trash Stros when they were using trash cans.
What the heck? What?
Hey, I'm talking about the Astros.
Oh look,
yes.
Danny pretended to be a black man. That's not racist at all.
Hey, if you don't vote for Stephen A. Smith, then you ain't black.
Well, I know someone who's named Jerome, and he's not black.
Ooh. Ouch. Yeah, he's
Hey, that's not me be president. Well, what happened? Stephen A. Smith just here?
Oh my goodness. I did not know he was here. That's crazy.
I don't know what's worse. Someone thinking that Dante Pittman is Chad Gable, or someone that thinks Danny here is Stephen A. Smith. And by the way, Chad Gable, he's white, not black.
Hey, black, not blue?
No.
I was still on the last joke. I'm sorry.
Oh, come on. Oh, by the way, speaking of black and blue, that's another thing. The blue people from the Avatar movies. Oh, shit.
Hey, my man.
More like
Danny.
More like a McMahon.
I'm a big fan.
I'm a big fan of yours as well. I'm the owner of WWE.
That is the most terrible impression I've ever seen. Why couldn't you just use AI?
Because AI doesn't exist.
He sounds like Vince McMahon if he got his balls caught in a thresher.
That's what I'm doing right now as you speak.
Oh, in that case, I hope the sex change goes well.
Can anybody else do a Vince McMahon impression?
By the way, Danny Lewis, you know you're a terrorist, right?
No.
Hey, Jesse Ortiz, I want you to come real close, pal, because you're fired. And Brandon Beauregard, you watching too many kids shows? You know that makes you look creepy, right?
Oh no, it's me, Joe Biden.
Chocolate.
Oh my god. It's me, Joe Biden. I'm so up right now, I can't even speak anymore. Because
I still voted for Trump. You know why? Because he shaved my ass bald. Well, actually, he didn't shave my ass. He just shaved my head.
So, I mean, Trump was my best friend.
What?
He was my best friend.
He let me host WrestleMania in Trump Plaza twice.
Yeah. Oh, wait, what's this? Hello?
Oh, hey, asshole. You're actually doing something that you're good at, blowing. Anyway.
I don't know why they would.
What are you doing?
I hit the wrong button.
Yeah, and I think I pushed the wrong button with this guy.
Blowjob.
Who's this?
What?
Joe Biden. I'm the president of the United
I think
States.
I'm on
That's
drug.
not you. What the hell?
Wait. Oh my God, you're using AI call. I thought this was the Chilling3000 Hangouts, not the Hangman Outcast.
I agree.
Whatever.
Well,
Somebody's ripping off Che Tong.
Not true at all. Oh, Jordan, have you been watching Matt's game with one of your relatives recently?
I haven't had that time for baseball that much.
No, I said that match game.
Match game. Oh, I didn't see that.
Oh.
Why? What happened?
I was just curious because I know you used to watch match game about.
I mean, I watch a little bit of game shows here and there, but I'm not religiously tied to it.
Yeah.
Not like most of you guys in the game show enthusiast community.
Yes. And tell us how you met Dante, because I think we never told that.
Oh, that's a story that I thought I'd never tell. Well, in the next 10 minutes, I'm going to probably get off here, but I'll just go ahead and tell the story. So, I was doing a movement. And Jesse, I don't know if you know about this, but I hope that this is true, that they bring Sunday Night Heat back sometime this year and replace Main Event with that. So apparently, I was trying to start a movement called Bring Back Sunday Night Heat. I was trying to do that, around the internet, some across other platforms like Facebook and Twitter. Wasn't really going anywhere, but I do know Dante kind of replied to one of them. And that's when I first met him, where we, commented and stuff. And then we started to, message each other. And then we started to go on Instagram and we kind of talked to each other on a video call. And this was somewhere around late 2018, because they were just, about to have their first Crown Jewel event. And so what happened was, after Crown Jewel was over, it was the drizzling shits. I think Jesse can concur with this, because it was hot garbage. And Dante kind of agreed with it. And then once we had our little talks, that's when he introduced me to Discord, and that's pretty much how I met Dante. And then had it not been for that encounter on Twitter, I would have not been able to meet, any one of you, actually.
So, that is a little Flashback Friday story for those who are still.
And folks, if you're going to say Dante is to blame for why there is insanity and more, crazy here because of me, yes. But I'm actually pretty proud that I met him. And as a matter of fact, I actually helped him out with a couple things. Like, I know he went through a lot of stuff that, I'm not going to say much on here, but I will say, though, that, he kind of helped change my life, in regards to the internet. And had it not been for him, I wouldn't have met anybody on here. I wouldn't have met, all the people on here, like from Brandon Martin, who I do Rant and Rave podcast with. That wouldn't have happened. I wouldn't have met Danny. I wouldn't have met David. I wouldn't have met anybody like, at all. I would have probably just kept myself and been isolated and probably, just, be myself and, be at peace.
Yes, and make new Luigi movies.
Yeah, well, I was already done with doing plushie videos, so I'm just, I'm good with where I'm at right now. I'm trying to get the subscribers to build up. I noticed that there's sometimes where I get subscribers and then it gets unsubbed. I'm like, here's the thing. If you're going to stay sub, stay sub. But if you don't want to stay sub, then why even sub in the first place?
Exactly.
Like, don't drive me crazy about the sub count. I mean, I want to reach to, 700 to 800, maybe 1,000 subscribers one day. And probably, if I work hard, I'll probably reach that 100,000, which will become a rarity for me. That would really make me real, happy if I got that silver play button. because at least I would have acknowledgement for my hard work, you know?
Oh, yeah.
And would I acknowledge the people who helped me along the way? Yes, I will, because not everybody does it alone, but still, you got to do it from the ground up, do it by yourself, and if people are willing to help, then hey, by all means, just give them credit.
Yeah, don't become like Bat in the Sun's Aaron Schonke, who's being exposed right now.
Yeah.
Anyway, I will let you guys go because I gotta play one more segment before we end the show, which I forgot to play.
Okay,
earlier.
yeah, sure.
That's fine.
But before you put me backstage, I just want to make something. I want to make a statement real quick. Me and Willard will be live streaming tomorrow night. Well, it's already Saturday, so it's going to be on a Saturday. So it's going to be either TF2 or Strinova. So be sure to look out for that.
Okay.
But nobody gives a fuck because nobody watches my content. Hence on why Danny was about to fall asleep. So
I don't blame him.
Whoa. Yeah, you mean I think this is what Noble is trying to do.
Yeah.
Now I know why that picture's there.
Yeah. I did it.
You look like one of those emo kids that use eyeliner.
Emo kids.
Yeah.
Not that. Get out of here. Get out of here.
Right, so I'm gonna head out for now. Thank you, David, for having me on. And to all my haters, go suck on Hitler's balls.
How can you do that? He died. How can you do that? He died in Argentina 60 years ago.
Okay, I gotta admit, that right there, that was funny.
We're gonna have to edit out what he was doing a few minutes ago, though. I don't want to get in trouble.
Oh no, that wasn't really his dick. You know that, right?
I know that, but it's still an inappropriate gesture.
Inappropriate gesture.
Well,
just by seeing you, Danny, is an appropriate gesture.
I don't care, but that's not going to trigger the viewers.
Wait a minute. Is that why Jesse called his name Chester?
No, he calls himself Jester because it's another way of calling him Jesse.
I said no, gesture.
Oh, okay.
The gesture is oh my god.
Two different things.
All right, I'm gonna play the baseball
All right.
segment
Well,
right now. So
it was
play
great being
guys.
here. I'll play after Sunday morning. I'll be back Sunday night from.
A nice background though with the Star Wars thing.
Oh, this isn't a background. This is
no, the Star Wars thing. I think I like that.
Oh, this isn't a background, Jordy. This is an air room that I'm in an Airbnb in Davenport.
Well, that looks pretty good.
We all wish David a happy 24th birthday.
It's not my birthday.
Whose is
It's
it?
October 14th. It's October 14th.
Well, it's somebody's birthday today.
Well, it was your birthday, and it was also William's birthday.
Oh, yes.
Yeah, you know whose birthday it is, Danny?
Who?
Anybody that you slept with last night. Wait, what?
Which is oh my god! I'll just go ahead and say it. Which is Slim and None.
That's funny because Slim was my nickname in high school.
Oh, you're still Slim. You're just more of a weasel when it comes to being slim.
Of course.
I know you're probably thinking, why did Jordan call me a weasel? Like weasel. Well, you are a weasel.
You've been saying that for 5 years.
And I still plan on saying it in the next 5 years, which will make a decade.
Cool.
All right, I'm gonna play the video segment now before we end the show. So I'll talk to you guys soon. Thank you very much for coming on. So.
Bye-bye.
Welcome back to the Baseball Rundown. I'm here with Kurt. I'm here with Johnny this week. And I'm here with Josh this week. We got a smaller group, but that's okay. We're doing this on a Wednesday, which is not traditional, but entirely okay. So there is a lot going on this week. I'd like to talk about one thing real quick because I'm no longer a fan of the team. But the futility of it all is the A's are so bad since they've been in Sacramento. They're 11 under 500 in that AAA ballpark. The Tampa Bay Rays, who are currently playing in Steinbrenner Field, are above 500 at home. So before we get to the team reports, I want all honesty about this because I already know they're trying to do the expansion teams. This isn't about Tampa Bay. This is about baseball in general. This is for the commissioner. If you're the commissioner of baseball right now and you got two teams playing in minor league stadiums, what are you doing? Because another one is Miami, which we talked about a few weeks ago. They had an all-time low for attendance. I think it was against the Mets. Somebody. It was fairly recent. They had like 5,000 people in their entire stadium. Empty almost. But if you guys are in charge of baseball right now, you see these three teams, they're not drawing fans, what do you do? I'm going to start with Kurt first. Go ahead.
I just don't know because, I mean, you assume that the situation with the Athletics and with the Rays is temporary. The Rays will be going back to the Trop next year, presumably. The Athletics, I don't know if they've broken ground yet in Las Vegas, but I've been hearing, it's a matter of days or weeks or whatever. I don't know what to do about Miami at this point. I mean, it's the ownership situation there has been awful ever since the team has been in Florida, and they've been there for over 30 years now. What do? Do you every time they think they've got a better owner, it just doesn't happen.
And
exactly. I don't know what's going to happen. How you guarantee that that's going to change.
And welcome in, Jesse. We were just we started the show, but we haven't quite gotten to that point yet where we started on the teams. I actually came up with a topic because of the three teams that have had issues so far this season, attendance-wise. The A's, it was always going to be that way. The Rays, we're going to have trouble because it's Steinbrenner Field. But my thing is now with Miami, because I just had Kurt go over it, and I'm just explaining the topic here. Miami drew such a little crowd. They had less than 5,000 fans there for a home game just this past week. So I'm gonna go to Johnny in a moment here, but the topic right now is, just to get things rolling, what do you do about these teams that cannot draw fans besides the ones that are in the minor league stadium because Miami is so feudal? Johnny, go ahead.
My goodness, truth be told, this is a very tough nut to crack. I'll tell you that much. I mean, for the Marlins, they've been around for 30 years, and outside of those two World Series championship years where they do okay, they just haven't been drawing that well. And truth be told, under Loria and their current ownership, they just haven't done much to invest in the product, their on-field product and whatnot, ever since 2003 for the Marlins. The A's, my goodness, a lot of this could have been handled better by both the ownership, the locales, and the league. All truth be told, there are just a lot of moving parts to that thing, and the same thing goes for the Rays. Even in the 2 years that even in the 2008 season when they were in the World Series, they were drawing not that well either. So again, it's a really tough nut to crack.
And I appreciate the feedback on that as well. You and Kurt have both made very valid points because Miami was one of the last expansion teams. They were the fourth. They're only the fourth youngest team now behind the Diamondbacks, the Rays, which is even sadder because the Rays aren't even 30 yet, and they still can't draw anybody. Colorado's in the swamp heap right now, but they swept Miami, which is that's who they were playing. They got swept. Exactly.
It was in Miami where Colorado swept. Yikes.
Yeah. And that's the sad part. It's gotten to the point where it's so futile that the Marlins, who are better than them, got swept by the worst team currently in MLB history through, it seems like 62 games. Josh, I'm going to go to you about the same thing, same situation. What do you do about the lack of attendance? Because attendance is on the rise, but for 27 out of 30 teams, it seems like there's not a problem.
Well, and for these two teams that are playing in minor league ballparks, again, the ownership needs to time to build a new stadium if that's what they're going for. But it seems to me like they didn't even have a backup plan for any of this. What they did was, they said, let's just pick a minor league ballpark and we'll go there. my second thought is, don't these teams have spring training facilities they could make use of at all? Anybody on the panel have a comment
They
for
do,
me?
but I think most of them are single A ballparks, which are even smaller.
Kurt is right on that, because I know Tampa Bay is already going to be stationed in Florida anyways, and the Yankees Steinbrenner Field is the Yankees their spring training stadium. So that's the spring training field.
Well, it's one of those things. You think they could collaborate with another team? Say, can you help us out when you guys are on the road? Maybe can we play some games in your ballpark? But they haven't even done that. It's all these minor league stadiums.
Well, my 2 cents about that is this could have been handled a lot differently, but in the case of the Rays and the A's, their whole situation is chronically been a problem since 2005. Tampa Bay has had a stadium now before the hurricane hit for 27 years. They had a stadium all planned out and everything else. The only team that has had a stadium for longer than them is currently Miami, and they can't even draw there. So yeah, no, it's not a pretty picture, but if you keep shrinking down and everything, like the attendance ain't there, it's going to be a problem. Jesse, go ahead and give your piece on this.
I mean, you're right about the Tampa Bay Rays. They've always had a problem with attendance. Even that was always the topic of ESPN. You know, one thing is they don't have players that draw. You know, they don't have an Ohtani. They don't have an Aaron Judge. They don't have a superstar to compensate. But they don't even promote the player. I mean, where's the promotion of their roster? You know, with the star players. You know, it's like what's going on with the NBA. You know, with the ticket prices are going down because of the attendance. You know, all the great players from my era are already gone. You know, Chris Paul, we don't know if he's coming back. He's in his 40s. LeBron James is in the twilight of his career. You know, we got young players that don't have we got young players in both leagues that don't get the attention that the stars of yesterday got. You know, back in the day, you know, you would see these stars getting promoted in the 90s, you know. When it was the Braves, it was Smoltz, Maddox, Jones, Fred McGriff, you know. You don't see it, it's like those teams are either lazy or just don't care to put a product out on the field to make money.
And there you go. That's 5 valid points of view. And I know normally you guys would like to talk about your teams today, but I'd like to go in a different direction. Ownership, payroll, because I think about it this way. The 3 teams we just talked about are generally bottom 5. Bottom 5 in baseball and payroll. And the A's were forced to get at least $100 million. But I always think about it this way. Ownership, front office, and lack of promotion. Because they got all these promotions, bobbleheads, days for the kids. And that was something else that I talked about previously. If you won't let kids run all 4 bases at a Sacramento game for these A's teams, you're really just blackballing these fans. Like, for the Mets, for instance. The Mets, they had Jose Iglesias. They had him do his own personal concert and everything. In the stadium. They signed a guy who hadn't played baseball in more than a year. And he goes and takes this team and he makes it exciting. Did the ownership cause problems for the Mets? No. The Wilpons have always been a decent set of people. I'd like to leave the floor to Kurt on this one for the Mets ownership to start off with and what they could do better and what they have been doing well.
Well, obviously, Steve Cohen's been a huge difference for the Mets since he took over a few years back. They are currently second. I'm looking at Baseball Reference right now in estimated payroll behind the Dodgers, and that makes a huge difference. But they're also creating more exciting product. As a result, the Mets have had, I'm looking at the year-over-year numbers for attendance. The Mets attendance has jumped from 24,490 per game last year to 37,686. That's the largest year-over-year difference of any major league team, and it's nearly double the second place team, which is the Detroit Tigers. So they've made a huge difference. By the way, one other little thing to throw in for the Athletics. The Athletics attendance per game this year is 10,069. That is an increase over their last year in the Mausoleum in Oakland of 3,795 people. So they're actually drawing over 50% more in Sacramento in a AAA park.
Well, in all honesty about that, the owner is a moron. He owns all kinds of money. And the funny thing is, the Bally's stock, the Gap stock, have both pretty much collapsed. They've been plummeting with him at the helm. So that's the only reason they're getting more attendance, because these people in Sacramento have nothing better to do than sit out there in the summer.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely.
So, and I've said this before to the customers of my job. It's just like, if I wanted to go sit in the sun and get skin cancer for 3 hours, I'd do it in Oakland. I wouldn't do it in Sacramento. Because that's what it's supposed. That's how they got the name bleachers. You're going to get your skin bleached in the stands for 3 hours.
I'd actually do it in San Francisco. They have a lovely view looking over the bay.
And I went there a couple weeks ago. It is a beautiful view. So this is going to be an interesting one because Johnny's got two teams. And I know Seattle and LA are two completely different levels. So let's hear this.
All right, the Dodgers, no big surprise. They're in one of the largest markets, second only to New York, obviously, which is two teams. And LA kind of has two teams in the Angels, but it's a little bit to the east, but it's still in the main metropolitan locale. And not surprisingly, ever since the change in ownership a decade and change ago, they've cared about their on-field product as well as promoting their team as well as a whole. So it's not surprising that they've gone to the World Series quite a few times and have won 2 in the past 5. Now, for the Mariners, though, they experienced a change of ownership in 2016, and as of 2024, they are in the middle of the pack in the payroll department. However, the ownership group led by John Stanton seems to be only concerned about making money and not investing in the on-field products. So a lot of Mariner fans have taken issue with that sort of thing.
And that's exactly where I draw the line. Seattle and the A's are two similar fan bases where for 20 years, because Seattle had Ichiro, they had Raul Ibanez, they brought in Richie Sexson, they had Kenji Jojima there, they had Felix Hernandez there, Franklin Gutierrez, they had Mike Cameron, they had Junior before he got shipped out. Seattle had all kinds of talent. They just never seemed to build around it in the 2000s. That's why it hurt them so much now in the 2020s, where they got guys like Julio Rodriguez to build around. They've got all this talent to build around, like the Dodgers have. They've got money. But the thing is, if you're rooting for a team like I was for close to 30 years before they left, every time they got somebody good, they'd trade them. They'd release them. They'd let them go sign somewhere else. And then you wonder why the fans don't want to watch ball games. Now, here's a real interesting one, because if you got anything else, Johnny, go ahead.
And it's really kind of interesting to see what happens whenever a big star gets traded or leaves the team for whatever reason. It's just frustrating.
Well, the biggest one I think of right now, and I'll get to Josh and Jesse in a second, but Freddie Freeman. People forget how long Freddie Freeman was with Atlanta. 12 years. He gets them a World Series title. His agent screws him over. He was going to stay an Atlanta Brave for the rest of his career. His agent screwed him over. I know Mets fans already had to deal with Chipper Jones. They called him Larry. They hated his guts. But I don't think you can hate Freddie Freeman. That's why him leaving, that hurts. That hurt Atlanta a lot. I'm going to go over to Josh with Chicago because I know I talked about this with him off the air a bit, me and David and I, about the Ricketts family and everything else, and how their ownership is kind of it's not become the drizzling shits. It's because they're, excuse my language, but it's a certain someone in their operations, and that's normally what leads to it, is they throw a monkey wrench in there. So, Josh, go ahead. Ownership.
Well, and exactly. The Ricketts have actually good ownership, but they're at a point now. They got the World Series in 2016, but they haven't built on it. They haven't built on it. Now we're in a situation in 2023. We have a good manager. We have Craig Counsell. You have people you can build around like Pete Crow Armstrong, Kyle Tucker. And what floored me is people in the front office made Pete Crow Armstrong an offer, and he turned him down because they severely lowballed him with the offer. And I'll tell this player is on the way to being superstar, and if they let him get away, it's going to be bad for the team because they're in a good place right now, and but they need to spend money. Bottom line, if you want to keep your talent or get talent, spend money. From what I've been seeing in the last couple of years, I mean, the talent's there, but they're focusing on other things within the organization where they want to put their money, and your number one focus should be the baseball team.
Yeah, that's the biggest thing right now with Chicago is ever since they got Pico Armstrong, they've had the talent, and this is like their first time that they've been good again.
Absolutely.
Since 2021, and that's exactly what happens. Is like I've said before with Chicago, they had great players. They had Rizzo, who's now currently a free agent. The poor guy, after getting kneed in the head by Tatis with the post-concussion syndrome, possibly ending his career.
Well, look what they did in 19. Look in 2019. They did a fire sale. They got rid of everybody. They got rid of Chris Bryant, Javi Baez, Anthony Rizzo. I mean, they got rid of the core that built that World Series team. And it's taken them a while to get back to leading the division the last couple of years. And I hate to see that go down the drain because of poor front office decisions. Whoever is making them.
Well, sometimes it just takes one moron from accounting to say, hey, we can't afford this guy anymore. And then he goes off and does bigger, better things.
Yes, and that's my fear for Pete Crow Armstrong, because he knows at this point how good he is, and there are teams looking at him, and he's going to probably go take that higher offer because he got lowballed here.
Exactly, and that's why I think about it this way when it comes to each team. The Mets, it's only been a decade since they last went to the World Series. The Dodgers won last year, and it's coming on a decade for the Cubs. What each of these four teams has in common is they've had their rock bottom seasons, but they haven't been fairly recent for the most part. I know for Jesse's sake and everything else, over the last 20 years, that the Astros had reached the top in the 20-year period in 2005, but I remember them being so putrid that they got first-round pick after first-round pick after first-round pick for 3 seasons in a row. It wasn't a tank job. Not like now, where everybody just refuses to spend money and they let their talent just sit there. They don't even go get above replacement or at replacement value for these guys. Houston has done, besides the cheating scandals, the whole thing there. Besides that, Houston did it right. They did a rebuild. Biggio retired. Bagwell retired. Oswalt left for greener pastures in Philadelphia. Roger Clemens retired. Pettit went back to the Yankees. But what did they do? Prospects. They went and got prospects. That's exactly what they did. And that's just it about Houston. They've had great ownership. Jesse will be back in a minute, but Houston has had a great time. They got Altuve, Correa. They had, Kyle Tucker, Bregman. They had all these guys, Framber Valdez, but the ownership was so great for them, it's not that they fell off so much as that's what happens when you invest in your future. And that's why I look at the Mets and what they have now. They've got a decent future ahead of them. The Mariners have their future now, and the Dodgers have a good farm system because they didn't go trading guys. They signed talent. You sign talent, and the Cubs have to do that. And Jesse, I know you had someone come in. I was talking about how great the Astros were for a moment here, but I'll let you have your time. I know you've been waiting.
Well, the Astros pretty much, they were in the dark age during who was the owner? McLean?
Yeah.
And Jim Crane in 2011 came in and turned things around, and they were very, very innovative with that rebuild, although the cheating scandal kind of, turned that into a shit show with, excuse my language.
That's okay. You're being accurate. That's okay.
But the way they rebuilt that team was very innovative with logistics. They had like a whole team come in, and they brought like players in that were doing certain things that helped build that team to what it is today, even though they're not the same team they were from a couple of years ago. That's because the Astros have gotten rid of certain players. They got rid of Kyle Tucker, and then they got rid of they let Bregman walk.
He's now with Boston, so it's Bregman. They still have pieces there. They let Gurriel go as well. He's bounded around from Miami to KC now.
Yeah.
Alvarez is going to be the biggest one. It's going to be the hardest one to get rid of, I think, because he can only DH. He could play a decent left field, but he can only really DH with his. Well, he's a large-bodied individual. He's not Devers per se, but
he's a big man with medium speed, and he could hit home runs. But other than that, I don't see him, getting the Astros getting rid of him anytime soon.
the number one thing right now is for the Astros. I know they've had a lot of talent, but for their future ahead, do you think they have enough prospects that'll? Because I know the teams above here do, but I know Houston's kind of in that dumbed down phase where that decade has come and gone, where they've had their prospects come up and everything else. But they still have the players that got them there. Do you think the ownership is going to keep them afloat?
I think the ownership should stop trading away their prospects for like players who are like, they always trade they traded Abraham Turo, who was good. They traded away a lot of players to Chicago, like Corey Lee. They had all these up and coming talent. I mean, they did really good with with getting a replacement for Carlos Correa.
Pena has been decent. He won Rookie of the Year, but Houston's kind of in that one trouble zone where they have to, because this is a reverse of kind of Chicago, the Mets, and the Dodgers and everything, where you can't trade away what you don't have. Because that's why a guy like Altuve, and I know he's had an up and down year so far through 62 games, they need an actual, and I say this very nicely, an actual outfielder. Not Alvarez playing left, because he's not the fastest. You would need a guy that has Alvarez's size and arm, but Altuve's speed out there. And that was what Kyle Tucker was before they let him go.
Yeah.
That's just what I think.
That was stupid.
And that's just it. Each one of these guys has talked about ownership and everything else and what the ups and downs of it is. I know we went a little bit differently with today's show. I don't know how they felt about it, and I hope they like the topics a little bit. But I appreciate them all being on here on a Wednesday. I know we normally do Thursdays, but thank you, Kurt. Thank you, Johnny. Thank you, Josh. And thank you, Jesse. Thank you all for hearing me out on this a little bit. I know you guys got to talk about your teams a little bit, but next time I'll make sure that we are able to talk more about teams individually. But I just like talking about the business side of things, where those guys, not so much the guys with the glasses, that'd be rude to say, but the guys who don't know enough about baseball, the ones who haven't played the game ever. They don't know about the physical and mental side of it, the injuries and everything, durability, what it's going to take to keep these guys on the field, and that's why they're up in the front office and they're not playing the game right now. But I appreciate your guys' time. Thank you again. And remember, baseball is supposed to be a fun game. It's not always going to be about numbers, but unfortunately, the players don't always think about the fans anymore, and that's kind of where things have gotten. But again, I appreciate your guys' time, and thank you for watching the Weekly Baseball Rundown. These guys, they're real good. They really know their stuff. Have a good night, everybody.